dude.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And Elwin was just constant big deeps from the back.
Well, semi-consistent big deeps.
And Gore was just I am an ancestral guardian. Yeah, I exist.
What are you gonna do? Hit someone else? Enjoy your disadvantage.
Indeed.
And
then
be-
Rivius killed it with
be
Sailor.
ti- Yeah, the Sailor Moon scouts got him.
We had to plan around it, honestly.
We did. Elwin was
Yeah,
pretty
it was
much. Elwin pretty much had it lined up to because we got him down to 1 HP. So
Oh,
literally
my.
anything would have killed him.
It was 2 HP actually.
Oh, it was? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
actually.
It wasn't 1. It was
Okay.
2.
okay. So effectively 1.
It was effectively 1. Literally anything any of you did would have killed him.
Yeah, I could have popped up Mouse My Meteors and threw a singular 1. It probably would have killed.
You could have killed him with a magic missile if you rolled average damage on it.
You could have said I like your Kaji
Yeah.
and slapped his ass cheek and I would have killed him.
I like it,
Let's not relive Chester right now.
Hilarity. Indeed.
Ori
Also-
did that on Wednesday.
Anyway, we're live.
All right. So, as everybody gathered around the field marshal, I have a very important question for the start of this session.
Uh-huh.
Tyson, do you actually go and sit on the fucker's chair?
Yes,
I'm sorry, what?
yes, I absolutely do.
All right.
No.
Not spending my birthday 20 to save you. If you need to be saved.
That's fine. No, it's fine. No, I'm okay with.
All right then. Let's. So, as everyone gathers around the field marshal, addressing wounds and injuries, Gore is treated to for the fact that he suffered quite a lot of necrotic damage. Elwin walks up the stairs to the throne, looks at this large, imposing, very comfy looking chair, and just plops his ass in it. And the moment he does, Elwin, can you please make me a wisdom saving throw?
Yeah.
God.
Well, I mean, you're a ranger. You have a better chance than most of us do.
Party, fight a high level boss. High level boss in epic.
I retract my previous statement. I forgot that rangers do not get wisdom saving throw proficiency.
They do not.
I would have had a better chance to roll.
Uh,
To save on
I
that.
would have got his
It
better
is-
chance, honestly.
it is a very big sticking point from Ferd. He really despises the fact that rangers do not get wisdom saving throw proficiency.
Yeah, I didn't
Wait,
know.
what happened? I'm sorry. What?
Or just
Oh, okay.
I-
Never mind. I'm sorry.
All right, Elwin, you sit down in the chair, and the entire throne room suddenly goes black.
Yay!
Oh my god, he's blinded.
From the perspective of everyone, Elwin looks like he is currently sitting in the chair, sort of staring off into the distance.
Okay, hold on. I have to set up my notes.
Alright, because this is literally the throne room of the fucking
music, please.
Yes, I should have prepared music for the fact Elwin was going to sit in the chair, because it's not the intended slot I had, but...
Alright.
Come on, no. I just
It's okay. Hold on. I got this.
Don't Ellen.
This-
Alright,
Ellen.
thank you.
You're just Ellen. It's fine. We're finally getting punished.
That's fine. You know what? I wanted to do something that was kind of risky. Okay.
Yeah, it's.
Hold on, give me a second.
I wouldn't know if I would call this risky, but more so absolutely moronic. You know?
Well, I mean,
Hey.
to be fair, I was gonna open up the letter if I was gonna open the letter on the other side of it. If
That's what I
everything
was
went-
expecting
I-
you to do.
Imps,
That's
I
what I
have
was
a
gonna
que-
do. I was gonna do it while sitting on the throne, but
Imps, I have a question.
Yes.
So
Can.
Elwin sits on the chair and his vision just goes dark.
yeah,
Yes.
I just
From his
Are-
perspective, I
Okay.
will explain more in a moment. But from his perspective, he appears to be currently sitting in a pitch black room. He can still see himself perfectly clearly, but the room is just a black void.
So what I'm getting is something didn't take too well to isn't really sitting well with him then.
God.
I figured you were gonna make a pun, you son of a bitch.
oh,
Glad to
God.
have you back. Glad to have you here, Cam. If even just for the session.
Okay.
Okay, well, people who interruptions from people who are in the current scene aside, Squint.
Like like that doesn't happen every fucking time we do anything.
True.
True. Meanwhile.
Well, okay. Interruption from person who isn't actually part of who isn't part of the active party.
Wow.
It's true.
All right,
Alright.
let's focus.
Okay.
All right, Elwin. As you sit and are surrounded by a dark void, you hear a voice behind you. Ah, I see.
I don't say anything. I mean, I don't say anything. I just kind of. I guess my ears would perk up.
As you're sitting there, you feel a hand rest on your shoulder. A half elf. You're not who's supposed to be sitting there. Well, consider yourself lucky. I have other business I'm attending to right now. I'll get off this chair. And he pushes you.
Yeah, I just go forward. Yeah, I don't resist or anything. Does the light come back or no?
Elwin, you take... One moment. You take 7 points of psychic damage
Okay.
as you get thrown forward 10 feet from the chair.
Well, okay, so well, right, it's right there. It's fine.
Right in front of this pedestal. And
Okay.
it is a very clear. Owen just got yeeted from the fucking chair.
Owen, don't you think that was kind of a stupid idea?
Are you okay?
I'm okay. Just
No,
wounded
sure.
pride wounded pride more than anything. Do I feel anything different other than taking 9 points
You-
of damage?
You
Perception.
have
1% at a time.
Sorry, go ahead.
You have a slight headache and a feeling that whoever you just talked to is still kinda in your head.
Okay,
Well,
out of
cool.
character, you're a moron. Also, you could have just been probably murked by Bane if he wasn't busy.
That's fine.
That's fine.
You know what? It would have been hilarious, but okay. All this and then just
Dead.
dead. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we just have Rivius just fucking full sprint up and cast revive on you.
If that could even happen, if Bane didn't like steal my soul or something.
Anyway, speaking of previous sprinting, for full tilt, you will.
Anyway, okay, well, okay, so yeah, I feel like something's in my head, and I just have a headache. And is my vision back or no?
Yes, your vision comes back the moment you
Okay.
get thrown from the chair.
What
And
in
then I
the
just
God?
say,
What in the name of the moon happened?
From a distance,
I
it seems like he sat on the chair and then was promptly thrown from it, and not by his own hand.
DM, can I, first of all, can I change, I'm going to lower the music. Can I religion check the chair?
You may indeed.
I will do so as well.
I would like the guidance mine, DM.
That's massive. How the fuck did I look at the art library?
Gee.
I would like the guidance at DM.
Go ahead.
26.
18.
Alright, Rivius, you give the chair a respectable berth as you walk around it, and when you get behind the chair, you notice what appears to be very small, very fine strings coming out of the back of the chair, leading up to the large statue of Bane in the background. These small pieces of string radiate with a very similar dark energy as the field marshal's sword did during your fight with him. And it seems to connect into the chair and fill the chair itself with a sort of dark energy that seems to be emanating from the statue itself.
What is this statue, do I know?
It is a statue of Bane himself.
Vivius will just stare at Elwyn.
I mean, how many chances do you get to sit on a throne?
We could
God,
probably just
God is-
teleport.
God is
We could.
above.
Okay,
Did you-
Elwyn, we could realistically probably just teleport back to Elerian and ask the king. I mean, the king's not even there. And
Just sit in his chair without his permission.
God is
Well,
above.
I actually kind of respect that, King.
Okay, but have you not? Do you not know whose domain this is, Elwyn?
Yes, and we just kicked the hell out of his champion, but
the champion is the Undying. The field marshal was simply a follower, albeit a very devoted one.
I pick myself up, I brush myself off. I guess that makes sense.
I'm just surprised that you didn't get possessed.
I am
Or
too,
cursed.
actually.
Or whatever.
Are you sure? I don't expect. Just be careful, Elwyn.
I'll let you know if anything happens. The voice still. Oh yeah, I guess I didn't tell him. Yeah, I did hear a voice that might have been Bane.
Might have.
DM, with my 26 religion check, will I know if that was Bane or not?
You can make an educated guess that it was most likely Bane, but you can't be 100% sure. There's also the chance it may have been the Undying who spoke to Elwyn.
All he was told me was that, this is interesting, a half elf, and then he told me to get off the throne and then kick me off of it essentially.
Yeah, because that's not your throne.
Anywho, we should. What next then?
No more messing with things, I promise. Like I
Wow.
said, how many chances does a street urchin get to sit on the throne?
Ami
You
is going to
can-
use Mage Hand and go pick up the letter from the pedestal next to the throne.
I was actually just about to go do that, but yeah, I'll let Ami do it.
All right.
Use Mage Hand. She's never fucking used it. You do remember that?
Use your cantrips.
Use my cantrips. Right after I lost. Right after I lost the cantrip buff.
Come on.
Fine.
All right, you pick a spectral hand forms and floats over to the letter, picks it up and brings it over to you. It is a very plain letter, no ornate decorations, and the seal on it and the wax seal doesn't contain any insignia. It is just a splodge of wax.
I open the letter. Is there anything inside? We'll open the envelope.
As you open the envelope, everyone please quickly roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Is it based on
This is
sight or?
sight-based, so...
I'm guidancing. I use guidance.
Unfortunately. I rolled a 3.
26.
Alright.
And then
Alright.
I need the guidance. 21.
So, Gore, Elwyn, and Rivius, all of you notice this. Ami, you're a bit too fixated on this note. As you open the note, the book on the pedestal starts to hover up.
Oh,
And then I point it out to say, Ami,
Just gonna look up.
and I point.
And there is a book whose face cover is looking directly at you, and it has a small embroidery of a dragon head on it.
Arcana check.
Can I
You
make?
want
I mean, can I make any check because I kind of have a connection to dragons, or no?
You can make a Arcana or Religion
Wait.
check, as can...
Hold up. Everybody's
you
gonna
want me to
reroll
play
it.
some music? Do you
I
want me
I
to-
was going to say, Ami, you can make yours at advantage.
Okay. Better.
I actually did really good for having a -1.
Did!
You did. That's a 19. Good job.
Arcana?
Arcana or Religion.
Okay.
You can do religion. Good at that.
Well, mine's the
roll
same
three.
either way, sir. So
Why you roll
I
3?
roll a 3.
Yeah, you can
So-
also
Oh,
just do
I
that.
roll a 3. That's okay. Fine.
Ami, you look at this book and you look at its edges, its spine as it hovers in front of you, and this book is old, very clearly. It's worn, it looks like it's been beat around for a few hundred years.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's gonna do anything, or is it just looking at me?
It is currently simply floating in front of you,
And
and as you're investigating it, the book starts to open, and Isidore will appear on your shoulder next to you. I'm going to change the music in a moment.
thumbs up.
And
Alright.
he says, Ami, does that feel familiar to you in any way? Because it feels kind of similar to our situation here.
Ami is going. She's going to bonus action Misty Step in front of the book and try and close it.
As you as you misty step in front of the book and attempt to close it, it will fly into the air and then quickly spring open. Pages will start to flip and turn, and then it will stop dead, and it will float down onto the pedestal, lying open on a page.
Did I get anything from my Arcana check, or
No, you did not, unfortunately.
darn it?
I look at the page.
Yeah, I look at the page with on me.
As you look down at the page, you see written on it. It is about midway through the book. You see a year written.
What's the year?
Year 2584.
Before.
And it's called the 7th of Lost Harvest. And Isidore will immediately fly to your shoulder again and say that was one of the lost. That was the day I got back to the library before everything happened.
Okay, reading.
Like,
Oh,
can you
by the
give
way,
me
where
the
did-
year and the date, please, again?
The year is 2584, and it is the 7th of the Lost Harvest.
7 of last harvest.
Yes, Elwin.
So where's the letter right now?
I have
Castilian Army's hand.
Ami, do you want me to look at the letter, or?
I mean, she'll give it a look over really quickly.
As you look at the letter, it appears to be completely blank. However, because you are a Katsune,
So we
you can tell that there is some kind of highly advanced illusionary magic on this paper.
I don't have the spell. Okay.
Weird.
You can't see it. There's high level illusion magic on it.
Unfortunately, that's out of my keen.
Yes, that'd be more in my court.
But
Only barely tell that it's there as is. Okay.
while she's looking at this book, I think Elwin will go look at this book, the one that's open over here.
All right. As you walk off, the book is going to float up and then slam itself back onto the pedestal, like it's trying to get people's attention.
Okay, so how far do I get before it does that?
Pretty much the moment you turn away, it slams itself.
Okay, then I stop going towards it and I look back. I guess somebody wants to read this. Can I make a perception check to see if, like, I can, like, if there's any, like, what kind of ink, I guess, was used, or how long, yeah, I guess what kind of ink it was used, or, like, how old the paper is.
And what language is it in?
All right. For Elwin, what check do you think that would be to?
I guess
Try
I'm
and
trying to
tell-
look for details, so I'm gonna do a perception check, but I just want to see if, like, there's any.
Yeah, you can do a perception check. The book is in common.
Oh,
18.
Elwin, the page that the book is currently on is very old.
Okay.
The ink is faded, and the page is yellowed with age.
Okay. And I don't. Okay. So yeah, I
It
was trying to look for.
you could guesstimate that the book that this page in the book is anywhere from 200 to 300 years old.
Okay. And I don't see any like weird markings or any like what are they called? The things that are on the side?
Ciphers?
Bookmarks?
Bookmarks?
Not bookmarks. You know, like when you take notes, but you put in the put on the sides or on the top.
Tabs?
I guess.
Bookmark
No, I
tabs?
mean I
don't
was.
know.
No,
Never mind.
it's just a plain page. There's
Okay.
nothing else in the book. It's just plain pages from what you can see.
Do
Okay.
we recognize the handwriting?
No. It seems very what's a good word? Like it's someone who's just starting to learn how to write properly.
So like a 6-year-old?
Or someone who's recently been taught. So, as you look down and you start reading the book that clearly has some desire for you all to be here to read it, you read the page that it's on. The kingdom of Asterius is flourishing. Mother says that the king's men are coming around the first dawn to collect the harvest to store before last harvest ends. She then has me go off into the city to run an errand. She entrusts me with a pouch of gold she set aside from the harvest and tells me I can visit the market district, but not to get too distracted or swindled by any of those silver-tongued merchants. But before that, she demands that I check on the livestock, says that one of the cows should be due soon, and to make sure that the birth goes well. And after what is a very uninteresting seeming diary entry, at that moment the doors to the hall will quietly creak open as
What doors?
I suppose not creak open.
What doors?
Caroline, you walk up to the throne room doors and they're knocked over.
Yeah, they kind of just aren't there.
And you come into a scene of 3 people gathered around a pedestal looking at a book, and Gore standing at the bottom of the stairs looking up at them. You are at the bottom of the map.
Okay. She'll start kind of making her way up just to kind of see what's going on. After a minute, when she starts getting closer, and just goes, "But it seems I've missed all the fun."
I'm
Yes,
gonna
you
turn
can
around
see-
and
Yes, you can see lying on the ground in a heap is the corpse of a man you recognize as someone who hit you a while back.
Yep.
and complete more focused on the new arrival. You'll now see a flash, and there is now a old friend, old rival, up for you to decide in front of you.
And one thing you will note immediately upon seeing Caroline is she's not wearing her usual bluish armor attire. She is wearing a set of light, darker clothing lined with a kind of deep purple. The elven cloak that she's used to wearing is also jetted with that similar color design. And on the back of it is a symbol of a serpent with a rapier piercing through it.
Nice get up.
Thank you. After all, I have to fit the opinions if I'm wanting to represent my part of the organization, after all.
And I must say, how nice of you to stop by. We can catch up.
Of course, we've had a. Well, I mean, after all, I planned to see you all at some point, and it just so happened to work out that you lot were planning to piss off the Imperium, and I was doing that, and I figured this would be a good way to run into each other.
I mean, we had always planned to do it together, but it seems that we know the outcome of that letter that you received just before we entered the Bright Force.
Yeah, it was a.
Once in a lifetime.
Yes and no. It was a case of I had when the fighting was going on at the cast at Elerian, I had proposed together a potentially bringing together some mercenaries to form a guild and adventure to. And at least I was able to get the Night Scions up. The rest of the groups I had heard any information about, and finally got back, and this individual in the Silent Queen, I guess, was interested in the proposal of several groups coming together and forming the Nightborn.
So a recent group then.
Indeed, that's and since I was one of the figureheads that spoke out to form at least a group to deal with the Imperium. I was put in charge of the Night Scions, and I've been busy with that. So I
never had you pegged as the leadership type. You always did love to do stuff on your own.
I typically don't. I typically don't lead. Most of the people that work in the Night Scions know what they're doing. I simply point them in the direction.
Fair. You missed all the fun.
I've had my own fun that you've missed, so I would call it fair. Though,
I must say, the Marshal was quite displeased that you weren't here. He said he would have killed you on the spot had he known you wouldn't show up for the second bout.
Well, I'm eager to disappoint in that instance.
I mean, we can always resurrect him. Do
Uh,
Rivius.
No, thank you.
Oh, no worry. If we do plan to resurrect him, it will be without any of his armor. Or his gear. That's a big if. We're speaking on what we learn here. You fought very well. Very interesting tricks up his sleeve. See those remains of those 4 giant crystals? He was using them to empower himself.
I see.
Pretty scary stuff. Hey,
Yeah.
Everyone, get over here. Get over here, guys. Meet the person behind at least some of the success of our success at the Dread Keeps.
Now this is going to be one terrifying sight for literally everyone else. Full tilt halfling in full plate armor.
Clank, 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 clank.
Fine.
Hello, yes.
He will literally almost knock her over.
Yep.
Almost nearly knocks over Ami as well. He's just enthused.
It is good to see you too, my friend.
How are you doing?
I'm doing as well as one can. I've been busy with helping a bit from the shadows. As you can tell, it's been quite eventful. I've certainly feel a bit ashamed that I've not been able to really send too many messages about what is going on or what has been going on, but
Well, at least for now, we have all the time in the world to catch up.
We've been super busy as well. I haven't been able to communicate with anything because communication was so difficult before we took down the field marshal.
indeed, even when I was patrolling to the castle a bit, most of us could feel his presence pretty radiantly. It was very unpleasant.
It was quite suffocating, but you would have liked the fight with the field marshal.
Maybe, but like I told
The only thing I can say definitively is that he wasn't exactly very impacted, for lack of a better word, by anything psionic.
I figured as much.
Hmm.
The from what I've gathered from the others, it would have probably been more detrimental for me to have been there than actually helpful.
Well, we don't exactly know. We haven't exactly been privy to your progression as your sort of style, so we don't know if you would have had some ways to circumvent him or not. And I suppose that will just remain a mystery for however long it desires to.
Owen, quickly, while they're having their conversation, are you still by the book, or have you come down to see everything else?
I still want to look at the other book. That one that I was going to look at earlier, but then the book slammed it.
All right.
Ken, how heavy is Caroline?
Rude. You're not supposed to ask that.
I think we asked this previously.
I'm just saying, Vivius would probably pick this woman up and hug her.
She is 150 pounds.
Oh yeah, he could carry that.
Yeah.
Halfling hug, nodders.
Halfling bear hug, also known as squeezing your legs.
Give her this little
Oh yeah, I guess you would notice Sojourn, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he hasn't moved.
there is a dragon just sort of standing over here. It seems to be grooming its scales.
Yeah, it's just kind of chilling.
Yeah, that's Sojourn. And behind Ami is Gore. He's a minotaur.
Gorabellum is his name.
Or a Barum. And
I must say,
back there,
he was quite the...
in the
Yes, and no one is in the back.
background is Elwyn.
Elwyn, get over here.
Huh? What?
Get over here.
Oh, okay. Can I try and take the book with me?
Yeah, I mean the book's just lying there. You can grab it.
Yeah, I just grab it and run over other people.
Before you were called over, you did manage to read a little bit of the book. It is filled with various notes and it appears that might be with the court the equivalent to the court stenographer sits. It is basically transcriptions of every single meeting the Undying has ever had in this courtroom, at least for the last few months.
I'll probably take it because that's probably useful.
Yeah.
It's nice to meet you. I don't believe I caught your name.
Caroline's gonna look at Ellen and go, "We have met before, remember?" Dirty.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was the other. I thought this was. Wait, was? Oh God, I'm sorry. You had too many characters.
Had two. They had two, Taiso.
That's too many.
It's too many. Too many.
Hilarious.
Anyways,
But
yeah, I'm sorry. Retract what I just said. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I just say it's nice to see you again. I'm glad that you're pale and whole.
She's gonna be like, what?
I'm glad that you're pale and whole.
No, hail, like
Oh, I
Okay,
heard
so-
pale. I was
I heard
like, the
pale.
fuck
Really
is
sound like
that?
said pale.
yeah,
I swore I said hail, but
I heard pale.
I heard hail.
Look, hail and pale do sound very similar. So
I do.
she's also quite pale.
She is very
isn't she actually pale? But anyway, I meant to say
Yeah.
hail and whole.
Yeah, she is very pale. She goes. It is nice to see you, friend. I assume things have been well with you then.
It has been good. I recently just got kicked out of a chair, but
He decided
other
to
than
be
that, everything's been
a
good.
chair. He decided to be less than smart and sit on the throne. You
It
know,
would have been a great story. I don't care what you say.
She kind of like leans over a bit to look at the chair, the throne.
you will very clearly
Fair.
see the massive
It's-
fucking
it's-
statue of Bane behind it.
yes, the match is fucking statue of Bane. You don't see the strings connected to the
Yeah.
to the chair though. Those are very
Mm.
fine, and you have to actually be looking for something to be able to spot them.
I don't know why. I want to say, look, Bahamut would have wanted me to at least clean.
I do not think Bahamut would have wanted you to sit on that chair. I think you need to stop.
As
Lying to
everyone
yourself.
is having this conversation, Ami, Isidore taps you on the shoulder.
She'll look over.
Looks behind us, and it looks like it's impatient.
Oh, Ami, and then
Huh?
I'm sorry. When I don't hear Isidore, right?
No.
No, Isidore's
never
currently.
mind. Screw that. Not screw that. Forget what I said.
Huh?
Oh,
And if you look around, and
Yeah.
Caroline, you'll see this. There is a book that is just sort of hovering there, and its pages are like lightly fluttering. That makes it seem like it may be impatiently waiting.
Mm.
Hey, look,
Oh.
I was gonna stay back there and read it, but
Isidore, we're catching up with a friend, slightly higher than priority.
Oh, I understand that. I'm just, you know,
Thank you.
I'm a little scared of the book that is looking intimidatingly at us.
I will. Well, she'll reach back and she will grab the book if she is able, if the book will let her.
The book will let you grab it, but it will not let you close it in any way. It stays open
Yeah.
on the page.
Yeah, she wasn't. Before I read this, because it's magical, and of course it is, the only one you haven't met, Gore, meet Caroline. Caroline, meet Gore. Gore has more or less become the replacement of you, and who stays in front.
Battered Minotaur waves. Just sort of looks tired.
He suffered quite the beat. He went through a lot in those last seconds of the fight.
I can imagine the field marshal isn't exactly someone that seems to really mess around. Kind of
No.
a bit of a sourpuss, that's one is.
No, he did not. Frankly, I thought I was going to meet my end, but he went for Gore.
Figures.
Hell, the only reason Gore still stood after that onslaught was the veil of Twilight from Rivius.
oh, it's gotten stronger.
It has. Very much
Yeah.
noticed. Ever still have quite a bit of a powerful composition. If I may say that.
Indeed. Well, it is nice to see that you all are. Oh, side note: another physical thing that is very apparent about Caroline is on her left arm is a metal gauntlet with a purple gem in it.
I'm Arcana check. I'm looking at that immediately.
Sure, roll me an Arcana.
Is there slots for other gems in this?
Just,
Is it an infinity?
oh,
gauntlet?
don't fucking do this to me.
But
To answer your question, no.
Darn it!
It is clearly the gem is clearly magical in some way. Actually, you know what? No, roll that for me with advantage.
okay,
Roll that bitch with it.
roll that bitch again. There we
Another
go.
Better.
Much better.
It is the gem is very clearly magical and feels very similar to the magical items that are currently within the party. The
Oh.
brush, the band.
I must say, where did you get that gem and that gauntlet by extension?
And she'll kind of raise her arm up and kind of look at it and goes, "The gauntlet, I more or less got commissioned to hold the gem. The gem itself, a particular fellow passed it on to me as a gift.
The gift
It's
is there.
yes. In fact, I was looking for him while you were dealing with the field marshal, but unfortunately, it seems at some point before we had arrived here, they have moved him as well as some other important things not only me but my organization would be very interested in.
I see.
Yeah, and she'll pull out a set of what appears to be heavily burnt papers. And she'll just kind of... Unfortunately, this is all they left.
Rivius, do you think you could try and mend those? Like you, mended the page at the Library of Alexandria?
Yeah, I can try.
It's, I don't know if it's a bit of a long shot, but it's better than not trying.
Yeah, he'll take them and then he'll start trying to mend it. Does it work, DM?
You're able to mend the burnt edges of the pages, but the actual pages themselves you don't think will be recoverable. There
Right.
isn't anything there to mend back together. The pages are burnt away.
That is a shame.
That's a shame.
Well,
But yeah, Caroline, stick around for a while. We have a book we've been reading.
well, I mean, you don't have to worry about that. The orders came up from higher up. It sounds like most of the Nightspawn are going to be harassing the Imperials as they make their way.
What, they couldn't have managed to just vanish with an army that size, still defending the castle.
Yeah, from what I've heard, most of the Nightborn are going to be pulling away. A few people are going to be left in the city to help secure it. Mostly my faction, as well as a few from each of the others.
Do you know which?
I feel-
Just a side note. Do you know who was assigned? To assisting us in the entrance to the royal district, or the castle district? About a week ago.
I'm trying to. She kind of thinks about it, and she goes, "Maybe hold on," and she'll kind of pull out like a little small, what appears to be kind of like a small book, just to check and see what seems for like taking small notes. Into the, you said into the Royal District?
Yes.
Hmm. And judging based off my notes, it could have been anyone from any of the factions. Did you happen to see any sort of indicator?
We did, but Alex, have forgotten.
It was a iron wall. I think it was a wall made of iron.
Oh. Yes, that would have been the Iron Wall then. That is one of the factions. There are more upfront members of the Nightborn. Not everyone in the organization is very sneaky, and it helps to actually have more frontline people.
Oh, I can attest to that. Our lives have gotten much easier since the joining of Gore. We found him fighting an entire Imperial patrol in the Bright Forest.
He did. It was very incredible.
I wonder what they were doing all the way up there.
Oh, they were looking for a place known as the Library of Alexandria, but as it stands, we've been there, and I have more than a couple of bets that they won't be able. They wouldn't have been able to find it in any decent amount of time. Even less so now that the capital is no longer under their control.
I see. Well, so long as they've gotten pushed away from their objectives, that is probably the more important thing.
Indeed.
Though, yeah, unfortunately, I was able to complete my objective by gathering my friend, but the city's secure at least, and the Knights Scion, as well as those from the Nightborn, the Iron Wall, the Scholars, and such will be here, while the rest of them, from my understanding, are going to be harassing the Imperials all the way to their final destination.
Do you know which way they're heading?
If some of the scouts were to be reported correctly, they are heading towards the Tear.
I had an inkling that they would all retreat there.
Yeah, we had a few people stay to help to keep an eye on them, but not enough to actually stop them. So
Yeah.
for now, it has just been mostly, from my understanding, harassing tactics.
Hit and run.
Exactly.
A favorite of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Good, yes. Well, make sure to pass whenever. Make sure the king knows that, learns of that. He can make better use of that information. Well, maybe we could go launch out, but as far as it stands, most of the party is beats from dealing with him.
I think the king's going to be busy for a while, though, Rami.
We all are.
He needs to speak up.
Anyway, let me pay attention. Let me read this book real quick because it is apparently trying to be intimidating.
Of course. And
I look at the pages of the book, DM.
As you look back down at the book, it's going to fly out of your hand to be in view of everyone.
Okay.
And it will shake itself and then turn to the next page. Which appears to be the next day's entry. The year 2584, the 8th of Lost Harvest.
Okay.
The handwriting appears a little bit more shaky than the last. The words are not as neatly formed. Mother woke me up in distress today. She says that there's a commotion outside and to not come up from the basement no matter what. She then left to check on the livestock and make sure they were all secured in the barn. Mother's been gone for a few hours now at this point. The hasty footsteps and clanking of armor has died down. Must mean the king's men have completely passed over the house by now. It must be safe to come out now. King's army's never faltered before. This next entry, the words are shakily written in, and it comes off as written in a panic or by someone distraught. I've come up from the basement. Everything's gone. The barn, the house, the crops. No sight of Mother anywhere. Just the smell of smoke and ash. I don't hear anything either. So quiet. So empty. What happened here? Where'd Mother go? Did she leave me behind? No, she must not have. As all of you finish reading that page, the book seems to recognize when the last one of you is finished, and several pages will flip, and it will skip several entries in the diary to the 14th of Last Harvest on the same year. Some of the king's men found me staring off into the distance. They washed me away to a shelter, even though I screamed and kicked and called after Mother. It's been a few days since I arrived at the shelter. This place is so lively, but also so cold. Keep asking if they've seen Mother, but they just stare at me and shake their heads, then walk away. During my stay here, I've heard whispers from the older folk about a creature called a dragon. Huge beasts that are twice the size of a horse and can turn a building into ash in a matter of seconds. They also have the capability to... I don't think I want to think about that at the moment. As the sentence seems to trail off. The king's men stopped by again, bringing new people in as they rescued them. I keep an eye out for Mother, but she's not in that group, nor is she in the previous one or the one before that. I've also heard some whispers among about monsters that walk on 2 feet like a regular man. Twice the size of one, too. No one seems to know anything about them, though. King's men complain about them being able to wield weapons like regular men. So, that's frightening. A few more entries are skipped again. I will send you all the entries once at the end of the session runs.
Okay.
Rest your hands, bitch.
I'm vibing.
A few more pages will be skipped as it comes to a page that's seems to be covered in ink splotches and stain and wet stains, like the author wrote it in a hurry. The shelter house Mother shook me awake today. Not much like what happened when Mother shook me awake. She told me to take my things and run as fast as possible. The monsters are upon us and aren't willing to negotiate peace or take any prisoners. I've seen one of the soldiers try to take one down, and it took him and 3 other men just to bring one of them down. The page cuts off very quickly. The book now skips dozens of pages as it rapidly moves through them, and it has moved to a new day, same year, 2584, and it is the first of the first frost. It's the first day of first frost. There's still no sign of Mother. It'll start to chill soon, so I'd rather not think about that. I've found shelter in the old church of Glade Pine. Mother took me here with her before we started any sowing. She said that an offering to the goddess is what makes our farm productive. Made our farm productive. The food stores here are ample enough as long as no one else tries to find shelter here. At night, I swear I hear whispers of someone humming a tune. Not any tune Mother used to sing or any of the church hymns. The next page, the second of First Frost. The humming voice spoke to me in my dreams last night and told me stories about how I could be the one who would save the kingdom and everyone would flock to my protection and maybe even become powerful enough to find where Mother went. He said that to take him up in his offer, I need to go northward and find a patch of grass that had been marked with a black hand. He said that he'll meet me there. The next page, it flips to the 5th of First Frost. After packaging some food for the journey, I made my way northward, keeping an eye out for this patch of grass marked with a black hand, like the humming man said. What was odd was that I was heading towards that rift in the sky. The king's men always warned everyone to stay away from it, mentioning it was dangerous for trained men and especially dangerous for someone like me. But the humming man in my sleep whispers that it's the only way to take him up on the offer, and I needed to get to the rift to help save the kingdom. No one else was capable of doing no one else was capable of doing so after all. The next page, the 6th of First Frost. I've finally found the patch of grass with the black hand. I've also come very close to the rift in the sky, and up close it looks like it's pulsing. There was a flash of black fire, and standing in front of me was a strange man. And he smiled at me, and started humming the same tune I've heard in my sleep. He introduced himself as Bane, and said that he was surprised that I actually made it this far. The page here seems to end rather abruptly, before the book turns to the next one. It's a bit more somber, with a slow turn of the page as opposed to the quick, juddery ones that it has done previously. One moment, Steam has decided to be a pain and update something. Okay, don't need that messing with things. The next page is the 7th of the First Frost. Bane and I shook hands this morning. After we did that, there was another flash of black fire and a crack of lightning. He then sat down in the grass and implored me to sit down next to him. He then started to talk about what this new partnership would mean for both of us, how powerful it would make the both of us. Just this afternoon, and as you read that, the rest of the page appears to be scorched and torn away, as if someone wants to hide what the rest of the entry was. After this, the book skips a large amount of pages, and as it flips past quickly, Elwyn, you in particular, with your keen eyesight, will notice that it just skips several pages that are just blank. And when it comes to arrest again, the pages that it comes to are clearly much newer. They're cleaner. The handwriting has gotten smoother and much more legible and well articulated. Rivius and Caroline, you will both recognize this handwriting. You see,
Oh.
Rivius, you have seen it. You have seen it written often in Draconic, and Caroline, you've seen it when you were raiding the camps.
You mean Infernal?
Infernal, sorry. This appears to be the handwriting of the Undying himself.
Wait, is this his journal?
Yeah. Yes. This is his journal.
Yeah.
We
yeah.
because it lines up perfectly with the legend lore. He lost everything and made a deal that frankly he didn't know what the fuck he was getting himself into, and it's
Yeah,
now more or less a puppet.
Yeah, I mean, I figured, but I didn't want to be like, oh yeah, it's this, you know?
That's fine. But yes, we are in fact seeing the Undying's journal, diary, whatever you want to call it.
His personal note.
Yeah.
As the book comes to a settle, you see a very different date format as well. Year 112 AC.
So that's a lot.
It is
AC.
now using the modern date format used in current day Elerian, the after convergence format. I'm surprised this book still lives. It's been 100 years since I've had the time to sit down and write anything down and just describe my life. Bane gave me everything he promised that he would, and I never understood the cost of it all until now. So much death, so much violence, experiments on children that were the same age as me as when I made this deal. Bane says that these will make the army stronger and that they're expendable. And in particular, the words deal and expendable are separated from the rest of the sentences to almost as if he doesn't want them to be his words. The book quickly, before you're able to read further, the book quickly flips to the several pages ahead, and to the next year. The next year that you see is the year 162 AC. Bane stopped by today, as he does on occasion. He says I need an heir in order to become a true emperor. After Bane had given me immortality, I've thrown the thought of starting a family out of my mind. The past 150 years didn't mean much to me, considering I didn't need an heir if I didn't have to worry about anyone succeeding me. In order to keep the benefits of my deal with Bane, I have to do what he requests of me, including this. So, I shall send off a courtier, or send off a courier to send out messages to any prospective partners. And similar to previous, the word partner is separated from the rest. The book skips ahead again 2 years to the year 164 AC. He has been born, my son, the heir of the Imperium Eternia. I shall name him Zane, and he bears a striking resemblance to me. It's uncanny. Bane demands that Zane shall be a general. No, the general of the armies. He shall be my right hand and my most powerful soldier, and be recipient of the strongest psionics from the labs. He shall also be a devout follower of Bane, and never waver. The book then skips ahead once more to the year 194 AC. Zane has come of age to leave the palace. He has grown to be a strong and steadfast man. He's off to leave for his first conquest under his own banner by the next dawn. He's fully capable of leading his own charge, for no one matches his skill in battle or in wits. I feel proud that my son and heir is so powerful as a man should be, but the part of me wishes he was just a regular soldier and not a devotee of Bane, as much as it pains me to say. And the book skips ahead, and we come much closer to the modern day, the year 241 AC. Bane grows more agitated each day, demanding more and more out of me and my men and the rest of the Imperium. He demands that the citizens of the Imperium eternally worship him, and only him, and any naysayers shall be thrown into the gladiatorial pits or branded as heretics and killed. Bane also says that his plans are almost complete, but he says that there's only one thorn in his side: the kingdom of Elerian. Kingdom that refuses to buckle. I understand his frustration. Queen Estrella and her was an incredible warrior and took on multiple of our battalions, but not even a quarter of the manpower required to match our forces. Not much has changed since her passing, to the dismay of Bane, for her husband is just as capable as a warrior as she was. Being able to fend off those damnable dragons and the results of Bane's meddling with those bestial creatures. Bane's wishes for Elerian's destruction within the next 2 years. The book skips ahead to the next page. Year 242 AC. We started receiving reports of a new group of adventurers on the Elerian side of Elerian. These adventurers looked young and capable, but also incredibly lucky. Bane sent one of his own to deal with them, like he has done before, but with some stroke of fate, they managed to beat him in the Lord's disgust and anger. Not much is known about these adventurers. One's a tiefling of some sort, another a halfling, and another a pale-looking human. The human strikes me as familiar, though. I swear I've seen them somewhere before. And the book moves on, listing the same year again. And now it has a subtitle. The year 242 AC. The year where arrows fell from the sky. Retorts tell me that the halfling has gathered a new companion in his travels, a kitsune in blue robes, and the scouts say the tiefling is nowhere to be found. No matter. Bane wants them destroyed, especially the halfling, who seems to be a cleric of some kind. I've sent Zane, his men, and a quarter of the army towards the kingdom of Elerian, but he writes that he had to pull back, and he unhappily reports that the halfling is, in fact, a cleric, and very capable of fighting. considering he can keep entire armies in fighting condition for an annoyingly long time. Zane's own words. He also reports that the Kitsune, from previous reports, is a wizard, but she doesn't seem to be any of the wizarding school records that we have access to. He tells me that he was forced back because celestial arrows rained from the sky after the halfling kneeled down and said a prayer with the Kitsune's assistance. After telling Bane this news, it only aggravated him further, cursing multiple gods in Infernal, and even multiple other languages that I haven't picked up. I did catch that he was cursing multiple goddesses, a Moonbow, a Saloon, and a Mistra. If the Lord wasn't so aggravated, I would have asked him to give me a briefing on who these goddesses are, but I'll settle on getting a few books on the topic. Lord Bane says that there are multiple gods that came to the Convergence with him, but never mentioned any names until now. Zane also reports that the pale-looking human is a woman who is quite adept with a rapier, and that he has noticed that she is also quite skilled at skulking around in the dark and assassinating his men. He's also learnt their names and will give them to me in his next letter. During one of his visits, the Lord Bane says that the group of adventurers are in the Imperium Eternia proper, and have changed quite a bit. The pale-looking human has disappeared, but in her place is a Minotaur and a half-elf. The Kitsune is masquerading as a human, and the halfling is some weird device that makes him look human. I can use this.
What do you mean he can use this?
He knew the whole fucking lot.
Once it's done, the notebook flies up and the pages start to fly around sporadically again. And when they do, the note that you are holding, Army, begins to glow.
She will look at it.
Monka.
As you look at it, a page flies out of the note and flies into the book, and it sits still on that page as it lowers itself in front of you. And Army, the book contains your name.
I'm looking. I am hurrying.
Once you read your name, however, the book turns and seems to fly off.
Okay.
Follow it, maybe?
She will hesitantly at first, but will begin to walk after it, beckoning Isidore to follow her.
As you follow the book, does everybody else accompany, or?
Yeah, we can go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do.
Curious to see what this book's doing.
Yeah, what is this book doing? Hello?
As you all follow the book, it leads you deeper into the palace, past the throne room, and into what appears to be living quarters, quite ornate ones. You could assume very easily that you are probably in the Undying's personal quarters.
Oh. Okay.
It flies into a side room inside of his personal quarters, and once you enter into the side room, Army, it lowers itself in front of your face, a lot more calm now, and it gives you a chance to actually read what is on the page.
She will do so.
To Army Silvertail, the most powerful wizard I've heard of. You may know me as the Undying Emperor, but I'm simply a bound servant and an old man with many regrets in his life. I don't have much time to explain everything, but when we finally meet face to face, I'll gladly share my stories, if the powers that be will it. You're a powerful wizard, my men report to me, and considering magic is only 200 years old, that's an impressive feat. Which is why I know you'll have what it takes to. And at that moment, the page seems to trail off with a splattering of ink that trails off the end of the page, and the book lowers itself onto a small container that springs open, and Ami, inside of. One moment, I don't have the right notes open for that one. One moment, forgot I opened the wrong one. That one. Ami, a container opens, a small display case that contains a tome. That when you look at it, it is a tome of clear thought.
Yo! Bing.
As well as what appears to be a replica of your arcane grimoire. But when you touch it, you feel the magic inside of it is far more powerful than the one you have currently. It is an arcane grimoire +3.
Big loot! Bah!
Jesus.
The big loot! We got a very rare baby!
2 very rares, actually.
2 very rares, baby!
Very nice, very nice.
She will take both, if she is allowed.
The book just hovers there, waiting for you to take it.
You will pick them both up. I had so many wrong assumptions.
Once you pick up your items, the book flies back up and starts to. And the note in your hand begins to glow again. And another page flies out of it. This time, when the page flies back into the book, it then rests in front of Gore.
I'm very curious what this book is doing about this.
She will come outside. She will come out of the room. It's
As
him. He's at least for me left a personal message. I assume he's left one for all of us.
Gore will glare a bit at the book and then
Look, I don't want to break the immersion, but like, I just wanted to be like, you little shit, you stand like slow.
I'm not gonna lie. When you messaged me about that, I was like, "Wow, ain't this weird?"
I would hear him. I would hear him. I would hear it out. We have assumed many things that were based on preconceived notions. I would hear it out.
The only problem he has is that he had a very close relationship with his mother.
He did, because he made that deal when he didn't know what he was doing. He was unaware of what he walked into.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, I think you should hear the book out, Gore.
And as the book rests in front of you, it waits patiently for you to make your decision.
Yeah. Start, just will pick it up, or I do.
It lets you hold it, and as you read it, To gore the Minotaur with a flaming sword and a hand that judges. My men say you're a Minotaur. I haven't seen a Minotaur ever since that war. That war was never my idea. It was his. Just followed his orders because of the time. Thought that was the right thing to do. For the beast races were never always enslaved. We used to have free wills and homes and rights as any other race. But as soon as I made that deal, the conquest started. I wanted more and more power so I can become powerful enough to. And the page ends abruptly with the rest of the paper having been burnt away. As you finish reading it, the book will lightly tug to get out of your hand, and
Let it go, of course.
once you release it, it flies over to another container and it also springs open slowly. And inside there is another book, a manual of bodily health,
Oh god.
and
God.
and a horn that is fashioned from bronze and bears the signs of your people, of your ancestors. It is the Horn of the Ancients. It is basically a Horn of Valhalla, but reflavored to summon ancient spirits as opposed to Vikings.
Okay.
Very
It
nice,
summons
man.
ancient spirits of the beast races, of all the beast races.
Oh, that's so cool.
That's fancy.
It is bronze, correct?
Yes, it is bronze. It is the very rare variant of the Horn of Valhalla.
I see. I am looking this one up, and
Yep.
wow. Okay.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Just, casually summon.
Here's some here's some
8
barbs
to
for your
12
barb.
minions.
Here's
Yeah,
some
eight-
barbs for your barb.
Yep.
That is a mistake to give him, but it's fine. It's funny. Also, Poggers, another 2 fairy rares. But also, oh god, his con save is going to be higher.
Yes.
Oh god, his HP is gonna go up by gonna go up by another goddamn 12. Technically 13, but you know.
Yeah, because the rage.
Despite all his weight.
And once again, as Gore finishes taking his equipment, the note begins to glow once more. Another page shoots out into the book. This time, the book will hover over to Elwyn.
Mothers.
You know
He
what we've said.
will take hold of it.
When you begin to read, to Elwyn, the one who speaks with dragons.
I can do it too.
I've heard reports of you, the one who speaks with dragons. The elves are a fascinating race, and they've only been here for 200 years. I took their homes from them, threw them into prison to fight for their freedom that they will never have. Until now. I received reports that you and your companions released them. I'll never repent for that mistake, but I ask for your forgiveness on the behalf of your whole race. For I never... And the words on the page trail off as the rest seems to be torn.
Hmm.
Oh yeah, so Jordan's with me, by the way.
Yes, Sojourn will also be reading that entry. Also, little note,
Mm-hmm.
and it will mean that Gore's the only one. Gore and Caroline are the only two who can't read this one. This one was in Draconic.
Hey, I'd be able to read
Fancy.
that.
No.
So Ami and Elwyn can read it, and Rivius, you can read it because of Eyes of the Runekeeper.
Eyes of the Runekeeper.
Okay.
Poggers.
Tiger.
Are we
It
able to
will
read
then.
it, though? Are we able to read it, or is it just meant for their eyes?
You are able to read it, but it is floating in front of Elwyn specifically for him to be able to read it clearly.
Thumbs up.
Nice.
It will then tug to leave your hands and float over to a third container.
Where is he getting all these containers?
Yes.
That once it opens, you will find a manual of quickness of action.
Uh-huh.
Oh boy, 22 Dex
Whoa.
Ranger. Oh boy, 22 Dex
go.
Ranger. He goes pew
Let's
pew.
go.
I don't think
And-
he has 20 decks.
I don't have 20
can
decks,
get-
but
But he can get up to 22 now, and his dex
Exactly.
goes up by 2.
Yes. When we
Let's
spend the
go.
2 days reading this.
What's up? What's in
And-
what's in the box?
A bow,
Uh-huh. What is
Uh-oh.
it?
An ornate-
What's that book?
an ornately designed bow
I have a feeling I know
that
what
when
the
you
bow
pick
is.
up, you feel the power within it.
Uh-huh.
There's only one
It
magic
is an
bow.
oath bow.
Yep.
Yep.
Yo!
Saw that one coming. This man is
Very-
about to be not
He's gonna
okay
outstrip me in damage really fast.
against a
That saying
sworn enemy. Oh yeah. Oathbow is. Oh god, and he has Alvinac. Oh no. Oh no.
I'm not gonna lie, I was half expecting a meme of like, and you find a Glock.
That's for the future.
No, that's for a different campaign.
We'll defeat him with the power of friendship and this gun I found.
And we'll defeat him with the
I
power
mean-
of friendship and this gun that he gave me.
I mean, an Oathbow might as well just be a gun because Jesus Christ Almighty.
Oh, 100%.
This one has Elven
Oh, yeah, and-
accuracy and Oathbow, and if he wants to infuse free infuse strikes for this guy is and he can put Swift Quiver. This man's going to be. Oh my God! This is
I
that's
can give
just.
myself advantage for a minute. Was Elven? What's it called? Elven.
Accuracy?
Oathbow gives you advantage against your sworn enemy, my friend, for free.
Yeah, there's a reason I gave you an oath bow.
Yeah.
That's concerning. I don't like that.
I don't like
don't
that.
like that. I
I
love
don't
it, but
like-
also I don't like that.
I am
can
amused by this.
All right.
Oh my God, his DPS just fucking. His
I
DPS
told
against the
you-
boss
I
just
told-
fucking.
DG literally is just like excuse for us to go up.
Well, I'm not
Alright.
concerned for our lives, but when was an ITVH?
As Elwyn finishes collecting his gift, the note begins to glow once more, and another page flies out into the book.
Who's at this
And
time?
now it goes to go and settle by Caroline.
Oh, Nodders.
That's
Yeah, she's just gonna kind of take the book.
To Caroline Windwalker, the shadowed thorn in my lord's side. You came up in reports quite often, whether it be from my field marshal reports on how you had to deal with several of his men perishing at your own hand, and even converting one of my own generals to your side. I swear that I've seen you in the past as well, when you were younger, I believe. You were seen as my greatest success in the labs, and that fact that you became incredibly powerful to break your chains is a failure to the Lord. Please heed my warnings. Stay away from the symbol of Bane. Oh, it covers the rest of the page, making the rest unreadable.
Mm.
Wait the fuck a minute.
Huh. Okay, keep on giggling, you little bitch. Keep on giggling, you little bitch.
I will.
Oh, fucking big shock. Caroline's action. You know, I want to say I'm
Actually,
surprised at like the. I mean, I'm not. I can't say I'm surprised, but I'm also surprised by just exactly the upbringing. But not surprised it was some. It was something of that sort.
It's an
Mhm.
experiment.
You fuckers had that worked out from the
Um,
beginning, didn't you?
From the very beginning.
Amazing.
Incredible.
I was told when I was given Caroline that Can wanted her to be some kind of experiment and said, "Go with it," and I was given free reign.
Ah, good. We
Yep.
had a repeat of me.
Yep.
Except
Basically-
except I'm the one. Except I happened after Caroline did.
No. Basically, the prompt I gave him was escaped experiment who doesn't remember who the fuck she is, and that was the
Amazing.
prompt.
It's if I had a nickel for every time I've seen a character who was an escaped experiment, I'd have 2 nickels, which is a lot. It's just weird that it's happened twice. I'm not even memeing about that. I have heard of someone else's character who's also an escaped experiment. Psionic experiment. Like, you're both Psi-knives. Side rogues, whatever the fuck.
Oh, is
Soul
that my
knife.
world?
Soul knife. Huh?
Is it my world?
What's with all these
No,
experiments
actually-
going around?
Oh, you're right. I have 3 dimes, nickels, whatever the fuck. I have 3! Which isn't a lot. It's just weird that it's happened 3 times.
No, in my defense, he just escaped from an asylum. He's not an experiment. Well, technically he is because he was in an asylum. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
What
That's
is an asylum except an elaborate science experiment?
Anyway.
Anyways,
I'm going to request something of the party.
Yes.
what's up?
Just a perception check. I want to see if anyone sees this.
Okay.
Is it site based?
Yes.
Ellen, you have advantage.
Ellen will get advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
Can I argue
guide
use investigation?
Yeah,
I
that works
guide
too.
the-
Yes!
Elwin and
Hold
Ami.
on.
Revius is using guidance.
17.
17.
Yeah, I feel everyone would see this. As Caroline reads those words, she kind of lets a bit of a smile out, one that's a little bit more wide than what she's used to doing. And the most noticeable thing you see when she actually gives kind of a full toothy smile is she has slightly long protruding canines.
Oh my fucking god, are you a vampire spawn? No, you're not a vampire spawn. Are you a vampire spawn? You're not a vampire spawn.
If it was a vampire spawn, we would have had very major problems very long ago.
How many? So, Imps, let me ask, what session is this?
It's
This
43.
is session 43.
I'm gonna proudly say I have gone 43 sessions without anyone questioning or realizing that Caroline this entire fucking
You're a
time.
fucking dampier, aren't you?
Yes, she's been a dampier this entire time.
Son of
Almost every time Caroline has snuck off when you guys were not involved actively in like her
Boys.
going to go and sneak around was her going to go and feed.
Oh
Amazing.
my god.
There is a
Absolutely
reason,
amazing.
Nice.
and there is a specific reason why she specifically killed psionics. Was
You
the
have
type
to feed
that
off
she
that.
feeds? Yeah. Yep.
Goddamn.
I hate.
Goddamn. I must say. I clap for thee. Very well done.
Very
Very
well,
well
done,
done.
my guy. This is the only
You're a
compliment
dick,
you'll get from
but
me.
well done.
This is the only compliment you'll get from me. You're
And-
very great.
Alright, while you're talking, I'll be back in a moment.
But yeah, I was. Yep.
Incredible.
That's. Yeah, no. I figured. Well, that was the funny thing was I was seeing how long it would take for like obviously I've been trying to drop like hints, but I was also trying to figure out a way to like do it
and that doesn't just fucking give it away immediately.
Yeah. That's why I was worried about doing the accent for a long time, because I figured that would give that away.
Oh, because I always said, like, Caroline says really similar to Strahd. How you played Strahd. I'm like, damn. Hindsight's 2020. Well done, my friend.
To be fair, I didn't know Caroline for
Yes,
like 8
yeah.
sessions.
You and Gore had no reason to really know. We were with Caroline the longest for about 20-ish sessions. Rivius more so than me.
I'm an idiot.
Yeah, that's just more of a thing for those two since they've been around here longer.
Yes.
And I mean, even when it was Courier, when she was playing her Tiefling Paladin, that was the initial goal I had in mind with Caroline, was to see how long I can go through this campaign without someone making note that she was a Dampier.
Well, unfortunately, when most of the focus is on many other things,
exactly,
some things tend to go unnoticed. Especially when you have a party member who has a penchant to just fucking go off and disappear, and then just come back whenever she wants, and just like there was no real reason for us to think that anything fishy was happening.
I know, and
one of the biggest ones. One of the biggest ones was always the fact that Caroline could see in the dark fine, and she was masquerading as a basic bitch human.
Also, I don't think it was noticed, but during the bridge fight, I was moving a lot further than I should have been. Like, that was a really subtle detail. I was moving...
climb speed? Because fucking Dampier.
Yep.
Yeah.
Also, when she jumped off the bridge, her plan was that she was going to walk on the underside of the bridge to sneak up behind the enemy.
Yeah.
That's why there was no splash when she jumped off the end of the bridge.
Well, those are very small things,
very small things.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's very subtle, but I still
someone who was probably more experienced with more things probably could have noticed it, but alas, my expertise is giving the GMs a very hard time.
Yeah, they were small. They were small things. More. It was
Flavor.
more
Flavor than anything.
Ken wanting to see how long it took somebody to notice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or to at least question.
Okay.
My favorite thing about this whole thing though is like she did disappear all the fucking time.
Correct. But you're a rogue, so it's like it's just kind of associated. It was like you rogues just kind of do whatever.
That was the best part about that, is I didn't even have to explain away why she disappeared. It was just, rogue things. It was like...
Just rogue things.
I could just get away with it.
So, are your agents vampires then?
Okay, but I raised the fact, you've been gone you left the party like what? 22, 23?
I know, but
You have been gone from the party for, I won't say half the campaign, but a good chunk of the campaign. So
yeah,
I wouldn't completely know that you kept it hidden. It's more that you left, so it fell out. Any sort of potential risk fell out of the limelight.
Yeah,
but congrats. But
I still
indeed
still fun. To answer the question, no.
Oh, I was kind of hoping for vampire secret ops, but you know what?
Well, I must
no,
say, what are the
most of the all the ones from the Night Scions are, like the name implies, they're all psionic to some degree.
Makes
Okay.
sense.
But yeah,
Well-
I was just like, that would have been hilarious if it was just like those people that were helping us were just secretly vampire.
Vampire mercenary group.
Also,
Yeah,
Ravius,
basically.
to answer a way earlier question,
Actually
how is
sounds
he getting all
real
these
cool.
containers? He set this up in advance. I think he knew that Eternia was going to fall by our hands.
Oh,
He's also when I didn't make specific dates for each entry after the convergence.
Mhm.
But his last entry when he makes the note of the Kitsune masquerading as a human and the halfling with a weird device that makes him look human. That was when you guys first. That was
that
written
had to have
before you
been when
guys
we
first
entered.
the city.
He knew the whole fucking time.
Yep.
He could have stopped us at any point.
Yep.
So he let this happen on purpose.
Mhm.
We were not nearly as undercover as we thought we were. But when
And Elwyn, I will let you get the shield when you guys return to the throne room. You are actually currently much deeper into the palace.
yes.
Oh.
Now, let us see what is in Caroline's container.
Yes. Caroline, after you have finished reading the book, you've made your toothy grin and some revelations were had. The tome will float over to yet another container that will slowly open, and inside will be a tome of understanding.
Ooh, poggers.
Hey, another one. Yoink.
And a rapier of speed plus
mean-
2.
Isn't a Tome of
Ooh.
Understanding wisdom?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
it
I
is.
can use more wisdom. I believe.
it for Caroline,
Sign-
though?
Yes. Yes.
Yes, this is for Caroline.
I believe sign up stuff is based off of wisdom.
Intelligence.
Wait, then why are you getting a wisdom tome?
I believe we checked and your thing was whiz based.
Hold up, I'm
No,
looking.
it's in cyanites are intelligence.
Cyanite is intel, but what is soul knife?
I think they're also intelligence.
In which case, we gave you the wrong tone.
They're neither, because they don't have a saving throw.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Cyanites.
yeah, they're no save. Yeah, cyanide is int though.
Yeah, cyanites int.
The
Hold up,
saving-
let me.
The one saving throw that Soul Knife has is the wisdom save, but it's based off your fucking Dex mod.
Yep.
That's
Which Caroline.
hilarious.
Yep.
Yes.
Which I mean, Caroline has a 20 in that, so.
Yeah. Amazing. Absolutely incredible.
Well, in that instance, because of that mistake, it will be a manual of quickness of action.
Okay.
It will be Dex.
Wow.
I'll take
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you'll take it as a fighter? Yeah.
Yeah.
Fighter rogue, even?
Yeah, Dex fighter.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
And then what was the rapier?
It is a rapier of speed plus 2, special. That is custom made in a design that fits appropriately with your attire and history.
Nodders.
So this is basically just the scimitar of speed, but
Yes, it is
rapier.
the scimitar of speed, but it is a rapier because I'm the DM and I say
Yes.
so.
That's fine. I mean, scimitars are already finesse, but you know.
Yeah, but Caroline uses a rapier, so.
Never too late to change weapons.
Anyways,
And finally,
Probably poetically, probably for poetic best,
Oh,
Not
what?
gonna lie. So every roll.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm
please.
just gonna
Okay.
be straight. I'm gonna be straight up
No.
honest here.
So what does Caroline's note cut off?
Caroline's note cuts off with a. Hold on.
She's
With
like, be
the symbol
careful
of
of.
Bane, the symbol of Bane overpowers the rest of the page, making it unreadable.
Yeah.
Now, here's what I will say. I have randomly rolled to select
Yep.
who gets what. When I rolled the last one, it picked Rivius, and I went, no, I'm giving Rivius the last entry.
Yeah, I was like, I think it's way more poetic for the person who's been here from the start, has not left a single time, for them to be last. I would have,
Yep.
I would have it no other way than Rivius to be last. The best for
One
last.
moment.
Fucking. If I use this manual quick action, fucking makes my stealth plus 14 with advantage.
I mean, we're about to hit level 13 too. So you know,
Yeah.
enjoy your plus 5 prof.
Yeah.
So that you're wrong. It's actually 16.
Yeah.
What is your level? What even is your levels for split right now?
At level 12, 9-3. 9 fighter, 3 rogue.
I was about to say, if it was if you'd somehow like reclassed into like majority rogue, and we're about to hit level 13, you would it was 10-3, you would have reliable talent. So your stealth minimum is 20 fucking 6. God, that'd be funny. But
It wouldn't.
Sorry, I'm currently talking to Angel, so I just want to make sure that we have that sorted so Taylor is fully focused.
It's all good. Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, my split's not going to go that way, mostly just because I have a certain build in mind for Caroline, so. I think if I remember correctly, I'm not going full 10-10 on the split. I think I'm going 11 fighter, 9 rogue.
Alright, so. Are you with us again, Taylor?
Yeah.
Alright. As a one last note flies out, this time the actual letter itself disintegrating as the last note flies out, Army. Flies into the book, and the book hovers over to Rivius, and then sets itself down on top of the last container in the room.
Okay.
To Rivius Moonhill, the boy whose faith is unshakable. I don't have much time to write this letter. The powers that be are most angry with you and prevent me from mentioning anything about you, besides the reports of my men. I was just like you once. My faith was unshakable, ferocious and true. But in my desperation, I made a deal that I to this day regret making. Now I'm a bound servant and an old man with regrets. I just wanted to save what I held dear and protect those that I loved. So forgive me, as and the page cuts off with the symbol of Bane burned into the page and droplets of blood surrounding it.
Damn.
As you finish reading, the notebook slams shut, hovers off the container, and seems to somberly float over to a display case, where it settles down, and the display case slowly closes. and your container opens.
Uh-huh.
Inside of your container, Rivius, is a tome of understanding.
Wow. Uh-huh.
And an amulet depicting the moon. It is an amulet of the devout. +3.
Let's go!
And oh wait, no, too various.
Man, that means I have to prepare more spells.
Poor thing.
Oh, you poor thing. Look at the fuck.
Oh,
Oh, you poor goddamn thing.
poor me.
Yeah, poor you.
Rivius,
Me?
inside your box is also one last thing.
Oh.
Another small piece of paper.
Uh-huh.
It is covered in small droplets of blood. And as you read it, it will say, "I don't have much time. I'm leaving the city now. Just know, do what you must."
Oh.
And as you finish reading that note, the symbol of Bane starts to appear, burning into the page as the entire note catches fire.
Oh.
Oh.
Fucking dick. Well then,
All right.
it seems that we have. It seems that we. Legendlore was true after all. Not that I doubted it, but we have finally learned to the extent at which it was true.
Hmm.
For someone behind so much of the pain, tyranny, stuff brought to this land, I feel sorry for him.
You have to feel sorry for him.
It was simply someone who was dealt a bad hand, and accepted an unfortunately even worse one. Out of desperation. The mark between a bad person and a better one is their willingness to look back and to understand regret.
Well, certainly this has been a very interesting insight to everything, but
It has.
I do believe I should probably report back to the rest of the Scions and possibly send a message to the rest of the Nightborn as they harass the army. But
If you
And-
must leave, you are free to do so. Yeah.
she nods.
I will always be a call away.
Of course. Well, if you plan to stay in the city for a little bit, again, the Night Scion are planning to set up residence here, as well as a few of the other Nightborn associates are going to be around. So if
As
by
far-
chance you need any of my services, I will be in the area.
I'll keep that in mind. As far as it goes, I don't think we plan to immediately leave it either. Might sweep
Well.
through the castle once more before going back. Justice check in on Justice. He fought the field marshal one-on-one. Unfortunately, was bested. We were able to stabilize him, and the king took him away. Go say hi to, go visit the king. You owe it to him.
I plan to. I certainly was going to give a report, possibly check on some of the potential recruits that might be joining the Scions. It is amazing how a revolution in the city can lead to some recruitment rankings in a mercenary band.
Well, as far as it goes, surprising majority of the Imperium army defected. Wonder, didn't actually know it's being broadcast, but oh well. Probably for the best that I didn't know.
Yes. So, if you would like to, I could probably put in a word and see if any of you are interested in using any of the resources of the Nightborn. Just feel free to send a message and I can put in a request for you all.
Happily.
We don't have an incredible amount, but considering the victory that I was achieved here today,
we did in 2 weeks what the other nations what the other countries of the world could not.
Exactly.
A lot of help, but still, we did it.
Indeed. No. And she will kind of start making her way towards the exit and goes, well, it was certainly nice to see everyone and a pleasure to meet you, Gore. I will be around and feel free to message me anytime.
Hold up,
See you later,
and
Caroline.
she'll Misty step over once more and put her hand out for the road.
Look at your hands and then kind of I assume a handshake occurs here.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the intention.
Yep. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Yeah. No, she'll shake your hand again.
And then they kidnap.
No.
No. Not a chance.
No.
Mm-mm.
It would be funny, but no.
Oh, it'd be fucking hilarious. But no. Not happening. Might punch you later for that one.
We're storing that one in fanfiction territory. For now.
Yep. That is staying in fanfic territory where it belongs, where it is being kept away from Andrea.
But yeah. She will. Yeah. Before she leaves, before she fully leaves, she's gonna quickly turn around and take one of the pieces of paper, and she'll pass it on to Ami. And goes, before I fully leave, do you mind doing me one small favor?
Sure.
I know you are very familiar with divination magic, and I was hoping that this might be able to give any sort of information I can pass on to our brothers and sisters.
You're thinking. You wish for me to scry again, don't you?
She nods.
I'll see what I can do, and I'll send you the results.
Please do. If
Happily.
it gets us closer to the objective I've set out for, that would be preferable.
Of course. Well, stick around.
Of course. I will be in the town,
Of course.
I'm sure if you ask around, you'll be able to find me. I'm planning on top.
I'm sure if I look hard enough, I'll be able to find you. You do so love hiding in plain sight, Miss Dick here.
She gets a bit of a warm smile. Of course. Sometimes the most easiest spots to hide are the ones that are the most obvious. And she'll make her way out.
Thanks for coming, Ken.
Thank you for having me.
I'm happy. I'm happy I decided to do all that. It feels
Yeah.
it feels poetic. That 5 people. Feels poetic.
You did.
Yeah, we all got very rares.
We did. But also now we have to worry about the health and safety of our party even more than we were before. But then again, I never wasn't. But I was always always had the off-sided confidence of this party is kind of broken to shit. Now it's
Damn,
more,
Did
but-
we level up?
You will all receive a level up now.
Let's go.
Yes.
Alright.
Uh, as you return to the throne room, Elwyn, you will be able to snag the shield.
I will snag Tyranny's end.
Oh, no, I was just
Goodness.
gonna look at it, but
Yeah,
You just wanted to look at it?
Look at the weapons.
yeah, I mean, well, I want to make sure it wasn't trapped, like the throne.
Alright, give me a it would be an investigation most likely to investigate the case for traps.
I'm not gonna lie, Chief, there was a small part of me that also wanted to sit on the throne.
Not gonna lie, I
8.
have a spell DC of 19.
Pog.
I
Kind of base.
with level 13. My spell save DC just shot up to 23.
Nice.
No.
So yeah, I only got an 8, so
You look at the case, and it's a very nice glass case. It's very well made.
Poggers.
okay. So what did okay, I pick up the shield. What happened?
Alright, you open the case and pick up the shield, and it is a magical shield. It is a +1.
Nice.
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 What
I
are you
don't
gonna
use
give us
shield.
a-
Well, actually, I could use shield with my rapier, but
You could.
You could, yeah.
Get a piece of rope and just strap it to Sojourn. He'll be fine.
yeah, give him some AC.
Amazing.
Alright, Sojourn, you're getting yourself a chess piece.
Yeah.
Um. Well,
Oh, I wanted to ask one more thing.
also,
Yes.
If I do, are there anything left of the crystals?
there was
Small
that-
chunks.
there was that relatively large chunk that Sojourn took up and then spit out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, that's about the size of what the crystals explode into. That and smaller.
Nice.
Okay.
About
So-
about a medium dragon's mouthful.
Okay. Do the crystals look inert?
They do still have some They do still have some glowing residue on them, but so they don't seem to be completely inert, but they're not
their
doing
latent
anything.
abilities are most certainly gone.
I'll probably take like a few of each, so like 3 of each type crystal.
All right, so you have 3 fire, 3 water, 3 earth, and 3 air crystal shards.
Yeah, guess what?
What?
Are you ready for me to do more fuck shit?
What are you gonna
That's why I gave you the fuck shit to do fuck shit with.
No, I have divine intervention fuck shit.
do? You do.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, you have divine intervention now.
Yes, actually, divine intervention, not ghetto divine intervention.
Not sacrifice all your resources.
Not
Divine
gamble
intervention.
literally about all of your resources. Divine intervention.
God.
DI.
God, fucking! I just need one more level in fighter, and then I can do some Mimi shit.
First off, your character exists. Also, I'm sure your item does some hilarious fuck shit of its own, because all of ours does.
Speaking of which, I need to actually give you an upgrade, Caroline.
Oh, my upgrade for my gem, or
Yes, your upgrade for your gem.
Wait,
oh,
didn't didn't Angel say that was already existing?
No, I literally just have to do.
You need to edit the thing to show it.
I
don't
just
you?
have to move it from the
Amazing.
GM notes into the
Hilarious.
There you go, Caroline. You can read your magic item, and it'll be updated for you.
Hilarious. Caroline, technically weaker than she was supposed to be. Absolute outrage.
I
Why
have
can't we see-
19 dex
can't-
level.
Oh,
What?
you don't get 19 decks until you spend like 48 hours.
Yeah,
reading
you have
the
to you have
title.
to spend about 2 days reading the book. So.
Looks at.
Oh God, wait. Oh God, no, my DC is 24. Jesus fuck.
Oh,
Oh, Jesus, mother of God.
I
what?
love how it
I-
took 10 levels in fighter for me to actually gain resistance to psionic.
Okay,
This is kind of cringe.
welcome to 5th edition.
But you know what? I have proficiency bonus of 5, so that's 10 side dice in each of my pools.
Good lord, man.
It
And
is
the-
so high.
Also,
one-
we might have to review your actual upgrade because that doesn't read right.
I was about to go.
I'll talk to Angel
Yeah,
about it.
well, that can
Monday.
be that can be handled at a later date. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah,
Um,
one more level in fighter, I can swing not only 3 times per turn, but also my size strikes do 1d10 versus 1d8.
Jesus.
Top. That's what
Yeah,
I'm waiting. That's what I'm waiting for. A full build Caroline. Fucking
we're waiting.
get
for me.
advanced.
Yeah.
Burn side ice. That's 1d10 plus her int modifier, and then 5d6 sneak attack. On top of the fact that she's swinging 3 times,
Yeah.
and now with the rapier speed, fucking bonus action swing again.
Yep. But yeah.
But yeah, again,
Well-
thanks for having me.
No problem. Happy you're
always
around
good
come
to have
along.
you.
Yeah.
That's the nice part about this is Omni or someone can send a message to Caroline and she'd be like, "Bet."
Yes, she would. Except I'm kind of out of sending Sletsker. It's fine, don't worry. But
I mean, so long. Well, fun fact: if Caroline gets visual of you, she can talk to you.
nice. And
Yeah.
I don't think you're gonna be leaving this plane anytime soon. Just a hunch.
No, like she said, the Knight Scion, as well as a few token members of each of the branches in the Nightborn are going to be in town to establish
Yeah.
roots.
Ami will go over to the body of the marshal and pick up Tyranny's End along with its scabbard.
All right. So you now have the Tyranny's End.
No, it was Tyranny's Edge, right?
Yeah,
just-
Tyranny's Edge.
My bad. I'm just dumb and my brain is just auto-correcting. to
Tyranny's End is the gun.
yes. Well, that wasn't actually what I was thinking of. I was thinking of nice renames. Funny, nice renames. Okay, but I guess I'm going to look over the blade with See, I'm gonna look over the blade.
As you look over the blade, it's clearly magical and clearly infused with some sort of dark energy, but you don't see anything that is a symbol of Bane on it like you expected to see when you picked it up. It actually doesn't contain any religious symbols except on a small piece of fabric that hangs off of the guard. which can easily be removed and isn't part of the magical effect at all.
She will do so.
Hmm.
She still is under the effects of Stone Giant, of a Hill Giant strength. She's still strong.
Stonk.
Shrunk.
Does she get the feeling that the underlying dark could be upended and replaced by something else?
You feel as though if you worked on this blade over the course of several days, you could probably attune its energies to a different energy instead of that of necrotic, that of radiant. Or perhaps even a different element if you spend more time on it.
She will take the sword and slide it into its scabbard.
How are you gonna
And-
pick it up after the stone giant, hill giant?
It's just a longsword.
It's not a great sword.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
it's just a
but,
longsword.
when the shield was being checked on,
I don't know. I think it's a
were
pretty
the-
good sword.
Oh, it
What
is
was
a very good
information on the
sword.
shield again?
What?
I'm blanking out on what the information Tyson was given on the shield.
+1 shield.
It is a basic +1 shield.
Okay.
It's roughly
Everything in these display cases is a +1.
No, I meant the shield beside the throne.
Oh, beside the
beside the throne.
Yeah, there was a shield beside the throne. There was a letter and then a shield.
oh, that's a little ink pot.
Oh, it is? Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's an
Okay.
ink pot.
So these are all +1 gear.
Yes, everything in the display case is a +1.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. It looked like a little buckler with like red metal.
That is. Yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I get where you're going. Where you can see that.
Part of me feels bad for breaking down his son now.
I
Well,
think
it seemed
his
like
son
he was too far gone.
Yeah, his son was too far gone.
Yes, but he was molded. I would feel better if we'd obviously have to remove his arm. We'd have to obviously remove his armor and whatever gear he has left. Probably rip some commoner's clothes on him, but I feel it would eat at me if we didn't at least try and give this man a second chance at life, free from what he was forced to be molded into. Is it really fair if we do not give him the same chance that we gave to all those who surrendered to us willingly?
Mod check, resurrection spell. Mod check.
I don't have Raise Dead prepared.
Yeah, you have 10 days. 10 days to cast it. Not saying we have to do it immediately. I'm just saying that before the time on Raised Dead passes, that he
So do you want to reincarnate him or what?
No. Raised Dead. Raised Dead spell.
It's too late for Revivify.
Correct.
Yeah.
So we have to raise dead if we're gonna bring this man alive again.
Yes. Don't think we have access to reincarnate if we... I do not believe we have access to reincarnate as it is anyways.
How do we know his soul is wanting to come back?
We don't. But we cast it.
True.
It is the
No.
choice. We
I
give
know,
him the choice to
you.
come back. As we have given to so many others.
Well, how do we know if that's Bane we're talking not to and not the field marshal?
We don't.
So we're level 13 now, right?
Correct.
So
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
I cast augury.
Wait, what?
I now have the augury spell as a
Yes, he
ancestral
does.
barb.
Yes, he does.
Yo, Pod,
Let's see.
same.
So I'm just gonna, take out some coins and just use them as my sort of focus for it. Because this says marked sticks, bones, or similar tokens. I'm just gonna take out some coins
Uh-huh.
and cast them out as my divining tool.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we're not going to be able to do it in 30 minutes, say I want to do the, hey, so DM, wheel or woe for if we revive him in 30 minutes.
You have to give the accurate answer the first time.
Or do you also say wheel and woe, or
Yes, you can. Yes, you can see wheel.
Yeah,
Woe,
I'm
wheel,
just
woe.
I'm currently just reading augury.
Yeah. We had this the last time. We went through this whole thing the last time we cast augury as well.
Yeah, because augury is a weird spell.
It is a weird
it
spell,
is.
as most divination spells are. Most divination spells are very weird, very finicky.
It's wheel and row and nothing.
Wheel, woe, or wheel and woe.
And then there's a nothing option, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
where
not
there's just-
not particularly good or bad.
Yeah.
All right. So if you raise dead him in the next 30 minutes, nothing.
Not particularly good, not particularly bad.
I mean, to me, that is net positive then, because I expect, as long as it's not like, oh, he's going to start immediately
Yes.
trying to kill you.
That's the point of taking him out of his armor and taking away his stuff. Or
Yep.
also he will
That's
be
my
quite
armor
weak.
now.
He will also be quite weak just due to the
Yes.
fact that race dead him. There's a pretty harsh penalty
Mm-hmm.
when it is cast. So, you know what?
Worth a try.
Ami picks up the field marshal's body.
All right. Ami carries off the field marshal's body.
I would just like to imagine like Ami's dragging it, dragging
Oh
it
no,
down
nope,
the stairs.
she's just carrying him over his shoulder. 21 strength.
She has a
baby.
strength for it with fucking
Yep, 21
giant
strength
strength
currently.
potion.
Currently 21 strength. Same as Gore.
Anybody going to stop me from gathering up the weapons?
No.
I think
No,
I'll gather up the
these are our
plus one weapon.
spoils. The only thing we're missing from all this is a shitload of gold, but you know.
Also, there's this other thing here. Did we want to, actually look at it? This black pentacle pentagram thing.
Oh, that's the book that he used to attune to the crystals.
Okay.
We should
I
actually
knew-
take. We did.
Yeah.
You should actually nab that though. You should actually nab that.
Yeah.
All right. So Gore, for you, since you take all the weapons, you get a +1 greatsword, a +1 great axe, a +1 bow, 2 +1 daggers, a +1 warhammer, a +1 spear, and a +1 mace.
Okay, I was about to say if there was a +1 quarterstaff here, I was like, you'd almost say this guy tried to help us beat up his son.
All I'm going to say is that my berserkers are going to be well equipped.
Oh god, you're right. Incredible.
And I believe, Elwyn, did you take the shield?
Yeah.
Then, Elwyn, you have a +1 shield. And the book that you take, this book is titled basically it is a Bible, but it also contains some rituals. One in particular that is handwritten for attuning to the 4 crystals in this throne room. And Elwyn, you also have a logbook of All attendance of the throne room for the last 9 months.
Yeah, I'm either gonna give that to Ami or the king or whoever would handle. Like,
We'll figure that out later.
yeah,
Or-
I just
Yeah. Just note you have it, and we'll figure it out later.
Real quick, was it a short bow or a long bow?
That's a good
It
question.
is a longbow.
Longbow.
Amazing. Again, I'd say you'd almost trying to help us beat up his son.
All right.
I don't
I'm
think
actually
you
have to
know.
just type out that list later, just so I don't. 'cause right now I'm,
Oh,
like,
I think
trying
the GM's already ahead of you on that one.
Okay.
Oh, don't forget to give me the list of his diary.
Yes, I will send you all those entries
Thank you.
and the personalized notes.
Thank you.
Alrighty then. So, as do you all leave the throne room?
Yes.
Are you going to investigate the palace further, or are you going to leave that to the king and his men?
I mean, I would, but that's just Elwin. I would join them, the king and his men, or
Okay, well, more specifically, the king's men, because the king is currently busy.
well, yeah.
Yeah. What do you guys want to do?
I need to get this armor back to a blacksmith so it can be
Oh my god.
made into halfling armor.
Well, more specifically, the magic can be transferred over to your current adamantine plate.
Ooh. That's it, really. And then I'm gonna go read this book.
Gore, what do you want to do?
Well, if Elvin's gonna help out, I don't want to like leave him without someone watching his back, just in case there's some sort of traps around or something.
You'd rather beat up, so sure.
You
fuck it.
guys did just level up, so you
This is true.
Gore did get a full heal.
Yeah,
It's true.
Oh yeah, I need to add my HP. Do I re-roll it twice, or is it just max now?
HP.
You
You just
have
take max.
advantage on.
No, it just takes max.
Does he just take max?
He just takes max now.
Yeah, whenever I roll HP,
Yeah, you just get max.
take max. Yeah, that's 12
Nice.
HP, right?
You are a D8 plus your con, which is
4,
yeah, that'll be 12.
9, 10, 11. Okay. Very good lore today, by the way, though.
I'm glad people enjoyed it.
How long did it take you to write all of that?
About 2 hours.
Amazing.
That's a lot of writing to do in 2 hours.
Angel's a very quick writer.
Can I have the thing, Arms?
Yes, let me get you.
I went back at it again and rolling max.
Just casual 144 HP.
HP than me.
Before the book, even I'm currently at
He's a D10.
177.
Here's the D10.
Alright.
What'd you say, Panda?
I said even before reading the book. Now I'm at 177 with 18 temp.
Good lord, and you're gonna be getting 13 more.
and then another temp.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, fuck it. I'll just walk around with the field marshal over her shoulder.
How long does the potion last? It was the potion you used, right?
Huh?
But how long does the strength last on you?
Hour. Could have bought enough time.
Yeah.
As to
All right, so you all, Gore and Owen go around exploring.
I'm going with them.
Ami walks around the palace carrying the field marshal,
Yes, sir.
getting many looks of confusion and some celebrations and cheers. And
This decision my decision might not go over well, particularly well, but also there's not really much anyone can really do about us other than drown us out in pure numbers. But even then, that doesn't really work.
I don't think the king would be very happy to that
I think
Justice's murderer would be revived though.
Okay, well the problem is Justice isn't dead. He didn't die.
Immortal.
He was almost killed, but also remember, you stabilized him. Spare the dying. He was not rolling death saves.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
Plus,
also,
if he's back, then Justice again.
given if we inform the king of the context of many of what we've learned, I think he'd be a little bit more understanding.
And Justice might be able to get a rematch without the infusion of extra powers.
And death.
Yeah. I also didn't mean to ask. Did Justice's previous pretty I'm assuming Justice pretty much pulled out all the stops that he possibly could. Were we technically fighting the Field Marshal at full power, or it's at least somewhat reduced?
he was somewhat injured in his fight with Justice and his small group of units.
Hmm. Okay.
So he was somewhat hurt when you entered into the fight with him.
Okay. I was curious.
From the perspective of mechanics, he was at full HP, but
probably like what? 500, like 1500.
5,000 on the dot.
5,000.
No, sorry, 1,000 on the dot.
Okay.
Sorry, you said 500. My brain
Well,
was
I was like how effectively how much how hurt mechanically.
How hurt? Probably around 200 HP hurt.
Okay, so it only would have been a difference of okay. So yeah, just as great as Justice is, yeah,
He was unprepared for the combat, and
yeah.
This wasn't the show. The Field Marshal did not put on a show when he fought Justice. He just wanted him dead.
Okay, so yes, it was pretty much just rampant tyranny, die. Probably. Okay, thank you for answering the question. I was curious.
Mm-hmm.
And the Marshal might have chugged a potion before we came in. We don't know.
Lamau.
Remius, what were you doing again?
I was shuffling armor with the blacksmith for magic transfer, and also sitting down and reading book.
We'll have plenty of time to read the book. Don't worry.
Mostly the armor, though.
I guess Ami will help you get the plate off of them.
The personalized notes now.
Oh yes, sorry, forgot that.
What's that?
Sorry, there is a lot of stuff here.
There's a lot. Don't worry.
Okay.
Just a quick question.
What's up?
Yes.
All of the books around the throne room, was there anything else interesting?
Nothing particularly interesting. It's a lot of general note-taking, busy work. A lot of administration, considering that was all done in the throne room.
Okay. Elwin will probably keep that information for a later date when we talk about how do we get these people through the winter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and I have one more question.
Yes. Go ahead.
Do these crystals that I picked up, were they mined or were they created? Or would I need to roll a check for that?
I would say roll me a nature check.
Ooh, can I do this now too?
You can as well.
I'm excited because I suddenly have expertise in nature.
Hilarious. Hello, Mr. Free plus 10. Hilarious.
that little boop was so sweet. All right, you can both tell. These crystals were manufactured. These are crystals that were likely mined from the earth and then infused with magic.
Okay.
So the magical property of them is man-made. The crystals themselves are natural, though.
Okay. We'll take further notes of that. I'm sorry. Like I said, like I told you in DM's Kingdom Manager.
No, that's good. I'm glad that you are excited for that.
Nerd.
Indeed.
I mean, if we're gonna try and help them,
Yeah. Yeah.
not be
Can-
dicks.
Yeah.
I know.
We gotta.
I was just making fun of you.
I'm just. Yeah.
Yes. What
But no.
do we find around the castle, Mr. DM?
Around the castle, you find that the place looks as though it's largely been cleared out.
I guess I can't say I'm surprised.
Even to the point of a lot of furnishings are just missing.
Amazing.
You find some bedrooms that are just completely empty, and some look like they have been empty for years. They are just covered in dust and look like they haven't been touched in a few decades. But there are some rooms that look like things were very quickly taken out of them in a hasty leaving. Floors scraped and dodged, and what you do find, along with the rest of the soldiers, is after several minutes of forcing it, you find the treasury of the palace, which hasn't been completely cleared out.
Oh.
Probably courtesy of him.
As one of the soldiers comes out, he says to the three of you, I think you lot might want to look in here.
Yeah?
To
And,
the treasury we go.
And
look inside.
once you enter into the
Yeah.
treasury, there are 5 bags, all sitting in a line
Mm-hmm.
in the middle of the treasury. Each one contains the equivalent in platinum of hold on, it is
Gold.
10,000 gold
So 1,005.
Nice.
each.
Nice. Like,
Nice.
It's like a very combine all of them. It's a very rare dog.
Let's go. A very
with
rare.
a single note on the central bag saying, "Wish I could spare more."
Sad. Not sad because we didn't get bored. It's just sad for the Undying.
Yeah. Now that whole thing about like
Yeah. Like he's not he's a bad guy, but like he's not a bad guy like Vayne is.
He's a tragic villain, which
He is, in
basically
fact.
M's favorite kind of villain.
Listen, look.
Yeah, we're listening. We're looking. We're looking at the world.
Called-
We're looking at the world you've put together. We are
Yeah?
listening to you talk about it. You are our bridge. You are our guide.
He was a farm boy.
He was. Yes.
He was a mama's boy. That's the
He was a
problem.
farm boy who was also a mama's boy.
Can I also get a time conversion from Isidore? Like how long that first date was set from today, like in comparison today to today?
The first entry that the book opened to, you were not privy to the earlier entries.
Yeah.
Was, let me just double check the actual date, was the 7th of Lost Harvest,
Yeah, like
2584.
Yeah, like in comparison today, like how
In
many
comparison
years?
today, that was the day the tear formed.
And the tear. I've asked this about a jillion times.
the day before the tear formed.
Yeah,
which the tear formed 200 and let me double check 242 years ago.
Damn.
Almost in 2 months. No, 1 month. It will be. The tear will have formed exactly 243 years ago.
Damn. True resurrection is out of the equation. Unfortunate. Well, mechanically it is.
True resurrection of who? His mother?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is within 200 years.
Yep. Why I asked. That is why I asked. But as it is mechanically and by the normal rules, we will be unable to resurrect her, even with true resurrection. But
Could always use a wish.
that is true.
That is risky.
But Igor, I want you to look at the party and tell me who's the only character in this party who can cast wishes.
Not me.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, so I could do it. I would do it. But why do I need to
That's
use
risky.
wish when I could just pull some fuck shit as a god?
Hey, Rams, can I use divine intervention in this way?
No.
Not yet. Not yet is the better answer.
No. I can't get true divine intervention. I'm never gonna be 20 cleric.
Who says you need to do that? I'm not saying we have to game it by standard rules.
You
We game it on
Yeah,
our rules.
you will not be able to call upon Saloon or Moonbow to resurrect someone using in that form. There's not. We don't. I don't even fully know what you guys will be capable of when you are actual gods, and the divine
Correct.
intervention is you just doing the thing.
Correct.
Heck it, I'll do it myself.
Correct. And I will help. After we fucking kill Bane. Because fuck that guy. He's a dick.
True. So we raised dead on Zane if he wants to come back. We talked to Undying, probably kill him, revivify him, and then kill Bane. Close the tear? Question mark?
Closing the tear would sever the link of magic. So as it stands,
Okay, goddess of magic. Make new magic.
I'd still need a source. And
You.
it's not how that works.
You're so fun.
I am a god, but I'm still bound by the laws of how things work. I am not to the
Yeah. It's
just make new magic for it.
No, you in the part of the North Sphere. You just take the Elerian magic weave, and then give it to other people.
I don't think we're going to be closing the tear, Taylor. It's the link to other worlds. So I do not believe closing it would be the smartest of ideas.
Yeah, fair.
So 10,000 gold for each of us.
Yep.
And then not as much as I thought we'd be getting, but.
And Rivius,
Me.
when you go into the blacksmith workshop, you see the king sitting there,
Oh.
Yeah, right. Warforged.
and there is a lot of commotion in the back of the forge.
Oh, hello, my lord.
Ah, Rivius. Judging from the fact that you're here, I trust the fight went well.
Oh, yes. I'm here to transfer his armor into mine.
Well, currently they're trying to put him back together. So, you might have to wait a little bit to get a blacksmith.
Of course. I'm glad that
Poor
he's.
Humpty Dumpty.
So is the Do you need company?
Poor
I
Humpty
certainly
Dumpty.
won't say no.
All the king's men couldn't put him back together.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, repeat that.
I certainly wouldn't say no. They say you stopped his soul from leaving his body, but the damage has still been done. His internal components are completely destroyed. His chest cavity is shattered into splinters.
I did what I can, my lord. I'm.
You kept his soul in his body. That gives him a chance.
How long have you known Justice, my lord?
We first met. What? How long ago now? It must be close to 400 years ago now.
Wow.
Back in Faerun. Me and a group of adventurers, we were exploring some old ruins, and we came across an old warforged site where they built them originally,
Yeah.
and he was deactivated in a small chamber,
Mm-hmm.
been taken over by a lich.
Oh.
Uh, we we lost two of our group that day, but we managed to defeat the lich by reactivating Justice.
Wow.
We After that, we offered to him to join our group. He took a long time to adjust, but we adventured together for 200 years, outliving everyone else in the party.
Mm-hmm.
And accumulated quite a bit of wealth together.
Mm-hmm.
We were planning to retire when the tear formed, and
Mm-hmm.
the weave was upset across all of Faerun. We were actually on our way to Baldur's Gate when it formed.
Hmm.
We saw it as it formed, and we saw a series of dragons fly through it as if they were possessed by some magic. And we decided that retirement would have to wait. There was a big adventure to be had.
I wouldn't think of you as much of a retirement type, my lord. My apologies.
Before I'd met Justice, I'd already been adventuring for 200 years. I'm getting old. I'm almost 700 years old now.
Wow.
So I was actually considering retirement. I wanted to finally settle down and relax for a few hundred years before I had to go back to adventuring to probably make back the money I'd spent. But once we got here and we saw how bad things were, we both agreed that this place needed us. And, well, then I met the Queen of Elerian and never looked back. Never even considered going back to Faerun. And Justice never even considered leaving my side.
Don't fix them, my lord.
I hope so.
You have the most talented blacksmiths in the kingdom.
Yes, and a few of my artificers are in there as well, trying to see if they can figure out how warforges are actually made, considering it's never really come up.
Yeah, Justice is the only one of his kind, huh?
He's not the only one here in Elerian, but he's one of the few.
But yeah, you'll be okay, my lord.
We spent a lot of money getting him upgrades, you know. That freezer, we originally got it to keep food for long trips.
Uh-huh.
Was actually his choice. He said he didn't like how I was always eating dried or salted foods.
Uh-huh.
So he wanted to keep fresh meat frozen in for me.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up spending what? probably close to 200,000 gold, giving him various upgrades and compartments and attachments from people who knew how to work with warforges.
Mm-hmm. Are those same people in there now?
No, most of them never came through the tear,
Oh, okay.
and the ones who did died off.
That's unfortunate.
200 years is a long time for most races.
Yeah, I forget about that sometimes.
We live with a privilege and a curse, living such long lives. Privilege is we get to see so much of the world and live through so much of it. The problem is we don't get to share that with many that we meet.
Luckily for me, my companions are, well, of the longer lived races.
Yes, the Kitsune will actually outlive you at this point.
Oh, she would never. She wouldn't have it any other way, honestly.
You'll outlive the half elf, but not by too much. He's still quite young from the looks of him. And again, so are you. And unfortunately, Minotaurs are rather short-lived.
I just passed the 20th moon.
You truly are young, aren't you? My 20th moon. And he looks up to the ceiling. What was I even doing back then? I think I was running with a rogue back then. Too much trouble in my youth. Far too much trouble. I think I've been arrested 3 times at that point. Not that that really matters anymore. And as he continues to reminisce, you see a halfling come running out of the back and talking to the king. My liege, we need you in the back. We have some questions about how to proceed. Well, Rivius, I will see you. Leave the armor there. I'll pay for the conversion.
Oh, you don't have to, but really.
Consider my treat, and I'll be with all of you tomorrow to give you your pay for everything you've done.
Take your time, my lord. It must be very hard seeing your closest companion like that.
And he stands up and starts walking towards the back. You're a good halfling. And keep your good heart. Elerian will be a better place to have a god like you.
Oh, thank you.
And he will walk into the back. And as he opens the door, and it's before it swings closed, you hear a lot of banging, grinding, and some shouting. All right.
Have
And-
we explored the rest of the castle?
Yes, you explore the rest of the castle, and the aside from the treasury, the place seems to be largely abandoned.
Well, before the army would make a note that whenever she knew that the hour was nearing, she would go back to. She would part ways with Elwyn and Gore, and to go back to her tent, still carrying the body of the field marshal.
I just like to imagine you just carrying it around with you.
Yeah, literally am.
Just
Literally over the
shoulder
shoulder.
carrying it, just the whole.
I know, but like she's like just doing random stuff with it on this.
Just firemen carrying a dead body, nothing.
And
nothing
then
major.
like she's doing like regular stuff or whatever, and just carrying
And
it.
she will go out and see if she can find anyone who can cast Gentle Repose. And ask them to cast it upon the body.
I can
Or
also
they
do
shouldn't
that.
Taylor be
Do you
able
have
to?
it do you currently have it prepared?
No, but I can.
I will go find someone who currently does have it prepared.
Okay, but DM, I would like to find someone that has supplies for Ray's dead.
That'll be easy enough. The quartermaster will have that for you.
Priest.
Yeah,
Will
just a
find-
single diamond. You'll have that.
She will ask whoever she finds to kindly Gentle Repose body. This isn't to offset how much time it's going to take. It's for respect than anything else. To preserve his body, or as a chance of decomposition.
Yeah, you're able to. You find some of the mages having a talk and ask if one of them would be able to do it, and they'll point you in the direction of some of the clerics who are performing last rites, and they'll help you out with a ritual to preserve the body.
She will thank them and give them 100 gold for their troubles. And yes, she is insisting. They do not get a choice.
No, they will not turn down 100 gold, and they will give you a bow, say thank you, and wish you the best of luck with whatever you plan to do with the field marshal.
And after that, she will take the field marshal's body back to her tent.
Can I do something after that?
Yep. Go ahead.
How is the clinic doing?
The clinic is filled to the brim with people looking for medical attention.
Okay, yeah, Elwyn would help out with cure wounds.
All
Alright, so you help out along with other clerics and more traditional healers. And you start helping with making sure that people are healthy and surviving.
I would probably make my way over eventually to the clinic.
Alright. Then you will also participate in making sure that everyone gets at least a little bit of attention. Anything else for you, Gar?
Not really.
Alright.
Not at this point.
All right. Come the next day. The king will call for all of you.
Ami will, Ami will happily oblige. He will, of course, leave the body. She will leave the body in her tent.
And he will call you all to the throne room, which he will be standing. I'll actually put his token on the map. He'll be standing in the center of the circle. One moment.
Okay. If this is like any other campaign, I'd say, frankly, this could be the wrap. This is it. This is the end. It's like, because frankly, as far as it goes, for the majority of it, well, this wraps a lot of it up in a pretty neat little bow. But that is, of course, not how. This is, of course, not just any other campaign.
Mm-hmm.
As you were saying.
As you all walk in, the king will bow his head. Welcome, my friends.
He will bow back.
Well, certainly is a grand palace, isn't it?
It very much is.
Well,
much of it is empty, though. I left rather hurriedly in some cases, but in many other places were just straight up abandoned for potentially decades.
From what I've seen, it's not particularly my style of decor.
No.
Much black.
Agreed. At least it shows red. Red does go well with black.
It does. It does. But this is the center of power in this entire region, and well,
it is no more.
Unfortunately, it very much still is. Even if it isn't the center of power for the Imperium, this region still relies on this city.
Yes. I meant more so that the Imperium as it stands is no more.
While we attempt to rekindle negotiations, now that we own the lost city that they possess, the only thing they really still have left are a few villages, a couple of forts, and of course the fortress at the Tear.
As far as I've heard from Caroline, that is where the rest of the Imperium army is off to.
Yes, I have been updated by some of the messengers from the Night Queen. But negotiations first. Winter's coming, and neither force is going to want to push out during the frosts.
No, it is not. No, they will not.
So, I'm going to attempt to rekindle negotiations with the Undying, who, for the first time in the last 150 years, I've actually managed to speak with again.
We have learned some very interesting tidbits about him.
Really?
Did we ever inform you of the results of the Legendor I cast upon him?
I do not believe so, no. We've been rather preoccupied.
Yes.
Didn't even know you did cast one.
Well, I did. It was sometime throughout our escapades at the Bright Forest, however brief they were. And, well, been nothing but true. The Undying was simply a farm child of a farm who lost everything when the tear opened and was manipulated by Bane to a pact that he doesn't openly say it, but it wasn't very hard to it was hard to miss that he very clearly did not wish. He very clearly regretted having made the pact. Much, and I don't think I need to inform you of all that has happened. And he very much regrets his actions and choices. Hell, he even left all of us, even Caroline, a couple of things in a personalized note from his personal journal. A note on the table next to the throne.
He was ready
Well,
to fight something.
it sounds as though he may be as much of a victim in all this as everyone else.
Very much seems like it. The people that he rose are he is very much a puppet of Bane, opposed to a follower. Well, he was a devout follower at one point, but that has very much turned into a regretful one.
Well,
I can
maybe those
fill you in
those
on
regrets
more of
will.
the specifics later on.
Well, maybe those regrets will help us in negotiations, but I doubt Bane will allow it then, if that is the case.
Almost certainly not.
Then, while doing negotiations, we will make preparations to march on the fortress. I feel we may have to end this more directly than I hoped.
Maybe. Bane, he didn't have much time to set up what he could. Bane is not going to be happy with him, even more so that the seat of his power and his kingdom has been torn from him. And
Yes.
might I add, without much of a fight, all in all.
I get the sense Bane knew he would not be able to hold on to the city, so he did not fight for it particularly hard.
Yes. He even left each of us some money, treasury, and says he was sorry that he could not spare more.
Well, I will not be able to spare an exorbitant amount. It's coming to that time of year.
Yes, it is.
The kingdoms are preparing for winter.
And
this one
tap me on the shoulder.
Yes, Ellen?
Right.
Do I tell him about what I did?
What did you do?
Sat on the throne?
Oh. You probably should. Just because. You probably should.
Okay. And yeah, I'll report to the king. I'll just be like, so call it a dreamer's ambition, but I did sit on the throne of Bane.
I've investigated the throne because my initial intention was to be sitting in it when you arrived, but after discovering the threads, I made a decision to rather stand in the circle.
Yes, this is probably for the best. Elwyn here says that he reported that he felt like he was. It was almost certainly Bane, now that I think about it, from what we learned from the journal. So, yes, we will have to keep on any
Well-
potentially lasting effects from that.
Well then, my plans will have to slightly change for the throne room then. But I should probably discuss those plans with you, since you are involved in them.
Is that so? We're not just going to poof off and go adventure elsewhere. After all,
Not
the war may as well be over.
Well, that option will always be available to you, but I am offering something else as well.
I see.
The city needs protectors for the winter. It's barely ready, and with the
damage
with
inflicted.
the damage is done from the fighting, despite how quick it was.
They will
People,
last.
a lot of people have been left homeless, and a lot of people were already homeless.
And
Without
there's
management, many people will die in this city from starvation, exposure.
of course. So
So,
instead of being on the down low like we were before, we're going to be taking on a more of a official role, I presume. Could we accept?
I extend to you an offer.
Let's hear it.
If the four of you agree to swear fealty to the kingdom of Elerian, I will make the four of you my vassals and provide you with this city as your first holding.
Interesting offer.
From there, you can do with it as you will. I give my vassals large amounts of independence. And I will exempt you from the kingdom tax until after the winter. So that any money that you acquire can be spent protecting the city.
We have to prepare the squalls first.
Yes, those are going to be a bit of a problem. Maybe a little too effective. But we got what we asked for, and I see no reason to decline. This city has it's going to be a pain, but I don't particularly see too many other people suited to the job. Maybe other than Woodwell, but I have a feeling he's going to have his own role to play in all this.
Yeah,
Then,
retirement.
Yes.
Retirement from the military aspect, at the very least.
Yeah.
Did you say something to me, Taylor?
No.
Oh, sorry.
Then, if all four of you accept, I will bestow upon you, and he will draw a short sword from its scabbard. A very ornate short sword. It looks like it's a ceremonial one.
Fancy.
Well,
And he will walk out of the circle towards all of you.
He's gonna shake us. That's a joke.
I don't ask for much when it comes to swearing fealty. Simply a promise that you will serve the kingdom loyally.
now that
I'm
I don't
hurt,
think.
my lord.
Now that
I
I
want
don't.
that.
Now that I don't think I could probably agree to. I'm a wanderer by heart, but I'm sure you understand.
I'm hurt, my lord, and I thought I was already doing that. This is a joke. I am jesting. Jesting.
I understand that you are a wanderer by trade, Ami, but what I ask is not that you forgo your ways, just that you respect the rule of law.
I was already doing that. What's the difference?
All that's all I ask when I ask for fealty, that people maintain that.
I can do that.
Everything else, that's up to you. I give you full independence on how you rule this city.
Well, first off, probably one of the biggest things to tackle is the, well, I don't think I need to say it.
The walls?
No. Sure, well, I mean, we have to tackle those, but, you know. I, was more referring to the fact that, a whole lot of racists here.
Yes. They won't be happy that a kitsune, a halfling, a half elf, and a minotaur are running the city now.
Kick the crap out of their general. Oh, and as, in relation to the field marshal, we're gonna try and give him a second chance at life. He was brought about by Bane's demand for the Undying to have an heir, and was forcefully molded into what we all knew him as. So, in respect and to act equally as to give him the same chance that we given everyone else.
I don't like it, but you are right.
We figured he
He
would.
deserves the offer.
Yes, he is. As is per Ray's dead, his soul is always able to refuse. So,
What I will say, if he does accept, he will be prosecuted.
I expected nothing less. I'm willing to bring him back into this world. I'm not willing to try and defend him from what he has done.
Then I will not do anything to stop you.
As it stands, I don't think you could stop us at this very moment. You are strong.
No, if you wanted to, you could probably kill me.
Yes.
But I'm glad I'm on your good side.
Indeed. And as long as you don't do anything strange, it'll probably remain that way for the foreseeable future. Probably up until the end of your reign. Whenever that comes about.
Yes, the people are quite happy having a king live so long.
I bet they are.
Now,
Have you ever thought of having your own heir?
That would involve him having to get married again, which I don't think he wishes to do.
I have thought of it many times, and I have recently. Oh. Can.
Oh.
I have recently come to the decision that when I abdicate the throne, I will succeed the throne to an elective monarchy.
I was going to suggest that you maybe take someone in. That's a big ask from anyone. raise them into such a stressful position.
Perhaps. It's always an option.
It is.
Besides, never did like giving the nobles the ability to decide on things.
I
They're
mean,
a bit too pompous.
yeah. That's always why I like just wandering myself. But if it really came down to it, I don't think I'd mind being a queen of the country. What an interesting position that would be. Part god,
Well.
but also queen.
Well, for now, once I...
Such a silly sounding title.
And he steps forward. Once I consecrated with a very official looking sword.
The nobles will probably hate you for doing this.
Good. And he taps your shoulder with the side of the blade. You are now a duchess.
Wow.
Fancy.
That's just Ami Silvertail.
And Gore. He steps over to you, Gore, and does the same. I now pronounce you a Duke of Elerian. The first Minotaur to hold a position of such power.
Thank you for this honor. Look at my throat.
Minotaur dies shortly after getting knighted.
Yeah. He was secretly 120 years old already.
Ah, fuck.
Well, we need it to be frontline again.
He gets tapped with the sword. He fucking dies. It does exactly 9 points of damage. Gore hasn't actually healed yet.
Oh, he didn't before. He has now. Ugh.
He goes and goes to Elwyn, taps your shoulder with the blade, and you are also a duke and knight of Elerian.
Wow.
You do me great honor.
And finally, he goes to Rivius, and Rivius, he taps you on both shoulders with the blade. I pronounce you Duke of Elerian.
Oh, thank you. I mean, this is
And-
such a great honor, honestly. Really.
And if you accept it, I would ask that you become my religious advisor.
Ooh.
he would he's taken aback for like a minute, and then he nods. Of course.
Then there may come times when I have to call upon you to leave the city to attend to official business. But for the most part, I will leave you to your ways here. You have a lot of religious duties that need sorting here.
Yes, the reintroduction of the Pantheon. The Pantheon. That isn't
I
just a
mean-
bane.
Yeah, I need to reform the religious district.
Yes, you do. Bane will still have a place, no matter how despised he is. But not the whole damn place this time.
Indeed. Perhaps we can, at the very least, chase his worshippers into the shadows.
Oh, I have a feeling
But
that they're.
with them there, we
Yes,
must make sure we keep a light on them.
of course.
Huh.
Can't let those shadows meld into the darkness.
We've seen it once before, and we can always cast light upon them.
Now, something I must give you,
Indeed.
because your treasury is empty,
Indeed, it is.
and I cannot expect you to use the funds that the small funds that were given to you by the Undying to fund an entire city.
No, I don't think we can.
So, to you all personally, your payment will be 60,000 gold each.
God damn. God damn.
And
Not exorbitant
I
money in
will
my ass.
provide you with 1 million gold in loan to get the city back on its feet
Yeah.
and get it through the winter to produce in the spring.
Not an exorbitant amount of money in my ass. Get it, but
I will
Jesus,
unfortunately not be able to provide much further aid than that. You'll have to find ways to fund further projects yourself.
I have a feeling we could probably get a decent amount. I have a feeling we could probably get a decent amount. Get a decent ways with 1 million gold. Just a hunch.
We do know a lot of builders.
We do. We can certainly get them in positions. You can certainly get them into positions where they can perform their duty, give them jobs. I wonder how Anaya is doing. She is probably enjoying the victory.
Now, I leave you all. There will be many duties. I will leave my counselor here as we return to Elerian. He will help with the transitional period. Make sure that you all get a court set up, have advisors of your own, and can effectively run the city, as well as get you some new chairs to replace that throne, and maybe knock down some statues.
Perhaps. Well, if you ever need rapid transport to a place I've been to before, you know who to call.
Yes. One of the things I intend to set up once the winter is over is a proper teleportation system here so that it's easier.
I believe I've heard that there was a teleportation circle in the castle. It was just under pretty serious lock-in, well, scrutiny.
Yes, well,
Might have gotten torn up, though.
it's probably somewhere.
Here's hoping.
And they clearly had their own internal network.
Oh, 100%. Also, I must say, there was something about labs where they were experimenting on children with psionics who displayed psionic potential, as far as I've gathered. And it would seem that our roguish friend Caroline was one of them, and perhaps the strongest of them, who escaped, as we've learned. I must also add that she's a Dampier. Something that...
Did you only just realize that?
Oh, fuck you too. Oh. Yes, granted, she's been gone for the last almost year, so give me a break here.
I'm not very perceptive.
Well, moment she walked into my court, I immediately smelt her.
Well,
They have a smell?
Well, if you didn't notice, my expertise is upon magic, not figuring out who people are.
It's something that comes. Yes, it's something that comes with experience. I've had to deal with more than a few vampires, vampire spawns, and Dampiers back in Faerun. They are surprisingly more common than people think.
Well, the only reason she found out because she She grinned a little bit bigger than she grinned a little bigger than she usually does.
Where is this Baldur's Gate you were mentioning?
Oh, if you go from the tear, it's actually very close to the city of Baldur's Gate. It's why there's so many people from Faerun here.
Hmm.
Because it's near to the city of Baldur's Gate. But honestly, never was one for the big city. Too many.
And I believe that the dragons that came through the tear may have been possessed by Bane. We believe that one of the personalized notes, I think Elwyn's, was talked about how he meddled with them. So
Hello?
Anybody else hear that crackling?
yes, I did.
Who's
I think it was
crackling
Panda.
with that?
Was it?
I don't know.
I think it might have been you.
I was
Hello?
not looking. Hello.
Oh, it stopped. Yeah, it stopped now.
Oh,
so
yeah. It's just picking up my mouse for some reason. Suddenly, I don't know why.
okay.
It's picking up it's my scroll wheel. I can sometimes just spin it, then it's free spin. And
Oh,
yeah.
you got a free spinning one? Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know why it's picking that up suddenly when it hasn't.
Shrug.
Weird. Oh, it's fine. Was just confused. But yeah, sorry. Continue. Well, it would be quite something for Bane's reach if you managed to control the dragons like that. It would. That also begs the question of if he's responsible for the tear in the first place, and if he is, why?
I mean, do you know how the gods work here? Well, how the rules work here. Faith is power.
True, but
If you have a whole world believing in you, it's quite the power.
maybe Bane has more influence than I ever thought if he was able to learn of this place and then, of course, the magic to rip open the tear to it.
He was able to, from what the journal said, he was able to manifest when the Undying reached near the tear. Bane appeared in front of him physically, like manifested. So his reach may in fact be greater than we thought, or his power. But it should be weakened, being weaker than it was then, mostly because we are disrupting so much of his I suppose conduit.
Well then, I suppose we'll have to find out more. Maybe there's more hidden in the walls of this place. You can never tell with these old palaces.
You could technically go see the journal, although it is now It is now in a display case in the Dine's personal quarters. I think out of respect, I vote to leave them alone.
It was sentient.
I think it was fueled by magic, left by the Undying.
Isidore will appear on your shoulder army and just say, I think it might have been the same kind of magic that, And then he gestures at himself.
It could also be something akin to how Isidore here sort of works.
Perhaps. I mean, it infused a person's soul into a book.
Well, in Isidore's case, it was a quill.
Who knows what other items there are from that time period.
Who knows indeed. But, I think we should let you go. How is Justice doing, by the way?
They've gotten him out of the woods, but they expect it to be weeks before he actually is functional again.
And how bad is it?
His internal components are completely shot.
As of right now, he is a head and bits of leg.
Ooh, that boulder. That boulder did way more than we thought it did.
His entire chest and most of his arms are shattered. We are looking at methods of mending him.
Say the word and I'll go and try and find some people.
Thankfully, his core was stored in his head and not in his chest like many other Warforged. Otherwise, even Rivius's spare to dying might not have been enough. But
I'll see if I can find anyone and send them your way.
it would be appreciated. But
Send some letters.
unfortunately, we don't have any living experts on Warforged here in Elerian, to my knowledge. So, we're gonna have to learn it ourselves. Because we can't exactly get to the tear right now to go back to Faerun to find one.
I by proxy have Windwalk. So I could technically get people to the tear.
That's too dangerous, I think.
You could, but the danger would be getting through.
I cannot speak for that, for I've never been.
It's quite a sight up close. But I haven't been close for, well, since the last time I met the Undying, which was 150 years ago, when the fortress was first built.
As it stands, the Undying doesn't have much left to negotiate with. Nor does Bane. The center of the Imperium's power is shattered, and most of their army and large swaths of their army have defected. The Imperium's days are numbered, for better or worse.
Hopefully better. Once all of this is over as well, I know I've declared you vassals, and you've sweared fealty, but I have no interest in turning Elerian into an empire. Once all of this is over, I intend to release the various vassal states that I've been forced to create as independent kingdoms, including the city of Eternia.
I think Woodward would like that. Got a good head on his shoulders. Hell, he's a lot of why this was even possible in the first place. So.
And I have no interest in being an emperor. It's so much more paperwork.
Yeah. Fun fact, the Undying knew the second we were in the city who we all were. Or, well, what we were doing. He let
If
it
he
happen.
knew, that means Bane knew.
Maybe. We don't know, actually. He very much could have stopped us before we even entered.
I
So-
think this was a huge act of defiance. His last act of defiance.
An act of defiance to begin with. He said he would. He said he would happily tell his stories if we were to meet. I'd like to meet him, at least once.
He does say that he's an old man with many regrets.
Oh, and we can finally put the age-old question to rest. Since he is from Preter, he is human. He was just gifted immortality by Bane.
Well, that answers that.
Indeed, it does.
We still don't know the nature of his immortality, though.
Probably just like the rest of his power. A lot of strings.
And the king looks to the throne.
Sometimes
A
quite
hell of a
literally.
lot of strings.
Indeed. I hope we can break those strings. And, let him at least get to live out whatever time he may have left under the new banner. Not one of being a puppet. Some tyrannical god.
Agreed. Now, I must get Justice back to Elerian, so we can work on him in more
I could provide.
organized conditions.
I will happily provide transportation if you wish it. Helm's all charged.
You know what? I'll accept that. It'll be quicker. Get him there, and we can start working on him while the rest of the rest of our engineers and blacksmiths get back on foot.
Beats having to travel a month's wait time, the month-long walk, month-long travel time.
Yes.
You could probably take a couple of them with you. I can transport up to 10 people.
Well, sounds like we're going on a small trip then.
Indeed. Just
And-
just have them gathered. Just have them gathered within like the hour.
And the king will walk off, and within the hour, you will teleport him and 8 other people, or 9 other people, back to Elerian with 8 other people because justice.
Yeah.
Him and 8 other people to Elerian,
We'll teleport back.
and then teleport back, and that is where we'll end today's session.
Damn it! I wanted to go res Zane.
Yeah, but here's the problem,
I know
Alec.
they don't have the prepped.
No, I'm also been falling asleep for the past half hour.
Yeah,
I
but
have
like,
to, honestly.
Yes, that is where we'll end this week's session.
Good job, y'all.
We
Thanks for
have
having-
ended the
a 44 session long arc.
Yep. And now we're going into part 2.
Where at last our destiny is finally our own.
Oh, now we're big ol' community.
Indeed.
So, thank you all for joining. Thank you all for playing.
Thank you for running, asshole.
Yeah.
Thank you for running, sweetie.
Anyway, I'm getting out of here. I'm sorry. I'm about to
Good night, guys.
Go to bed,
Have a good
dummy.
night.
go good night.
Yeah, I'm good. Good night, y'all.
Okay.
Good night, Taylor.
Alright, I'm gonna end the stream now. My feet.
And